Bennington show on, I'm going to guess this, Wednesday?
I think you're correct.
Okay, good. I'm very good at that. No Bennington show on Opie Radio the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
But we will be here on a little station I like to call Raw Dog. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
Maybe you've heard of Stan Bennington. He's making things happen. And dancing to every opening song, Jojo Bennington, who looked like he was playing bongos to me.
Yeah, the bongo part.
Okay.
In the song.
There should be a bongo part. Hey, Kathleen Madigan is here. She was doing an amazing job with Lewis Black last night. Lewis also appeared, but it was the Democratic. Well, I guess it was a debate, but there was a lot of agreeing. But both Kathleen and Madigan were in hell before it even started. I watched along with you guys last night.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, and you were bitching before the thing even started. Bitching up a storm.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, and everything I predicted with my bitching is exactly what happened. Snowden, hero or traitor? Oh, come on. That's not a question. I learned nothing except weird things. Like, I didn't know Bernie went to the Soviet Union on his honeymoon, but I don't have a problem. I've always wanted to go see Russia, too. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not where I'd go on a honeymoon.
That's
but,
so romantic,
but Bernie doesn't look like a romantic.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't. Bernie, to me, looks like he may have always just been in a car accident.
Yeah.
He's disheveled like he got carjacked, and they threw him out on the side of the highway, and then he wandered in somewhere and went, I lost my vehicle.
It comes across as if, always with him, as a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment, you know what I mean? He's just so frustrated with everything. But you, I thought, had the line of the night when you said that Hillary was dressed like Mao Zedong. As soon as you said that, I go, I gotta stay with this.
She's our supreme ruler. I go, is she selling watches? What is going on underneath this jacket that is 3/4 the length of our body? And then she loves the mandarin collar. She found one and she bought every color. She went in and said, give me all of them. I'm Arthur. I want one in every color. Like, it's just not the most flattering outfit.
No, she's going for power, I think, with that mandarin collar. Very stiff. But that's a relaxed look.
That's not a very friendly power, though, when we're talking about Mao Zedong.
But it does look like a sci-fi movie of the future of what we thought our leaders would start dressing like.
It does. And she's actually dressing, has the exact same outfits as Kim Jong-un is sporting at his little parades. It's the same type of, it's the chubby hider.
Now, they knew that coming in, and yet they still do it. That's the thing about the Clintons that's just amazing. Like, last night, Bill did a text that just said, what happens in Vegas, ... And we're like, you know your past, dude.
Right.
You can't be doing that.
He's feeding the monkeys.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, he, at some point, though, if you're Bill, I mean, you just be, he's got nothing going on anymore. He can say whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless it's going to really hurt her, But
that's the thing. He does have a Charlie Sheen thing about him that no matter what happens, at least I'm out there. You're talking about me. He doesn't really care.
Publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, you and Lewis together, which always seemed like the, wildest friendship to me. Lewis was also with Trevor Noah last night. I don't know how you guys were doing all these things at the same time. I'm looking around, but you guys are doing a tour together as well, right?
No.
Oh, you're not doing a tour together?
No. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
I came up here for all kinds of other stuff too, and work and all that stuff, and then we just happened to watch the debate together last time.
Yeah.
And then I was tweeting it. Lou doesn't tweet as fast as I would be doing, or as frequently. And people were like, oh, we wish we could be at the bar with you guys. And I thought, well, they could. All we got to do is hit Periscope and hit go.
What bar were you guys at?
Rule. That's a secret. We keep it a secret.
Because you don't want anybody to show up.
Well, we just don't
want,
because especially some of Lou's fans, they're angrier than Lou. So like, we don't need like, 20 people should go, I got another thing to say. Let me tell you what I think about this. It's already loud where we were.
Right.
So it was it's easier if nobody knows where we are.
So you're saying Lewis, he can turn it on and off. It doesn't,
Yeah, he's yeah, like Lou can be very silly and sweet, and but it'll come out like golfing sometimes. It just he'll lose it, and then it goes into. You can he misses a sand shot, and the next thing you know, we're talking about communism. what happened, Lou? That's the whole point of golf. We're supposed to forget about stuff. We're supposed to be having fun. Yeah, he could definitely, and he was a little, tired last night. I don't think he wasn't nearly, I get infuriated with the questions. Forget about the answers. I think the questions are horrible and appalling. He doesn't seem to feel that they're as bad as I do.
He's okay, but he doesn't really have a horse in this race either. I was waiting to see.
He likes Bernie.
He does like Bernie.
He's a Bernie guy. Yeah. But Lou's literally, if there was a hippie commune that had good food, Lou would live on it. I think the only thing that separates Lou from a commune is good food. Like he's an old school 60s hippie, and he's like he says, he goes, they called Obama a socialist, and I know he's not because he never comes to the softball games, and our team, the socialist team, needs more players. Like, so Lou has no problem associating himself with saying I'm a socialist.
But, Bernie is the first guy I've ever seen do that on stage. Yeah. And I had to wonder, can anyone win a general election? Because even when I was a kid, we were taught in school, communism worst, socialism kind of bad, but right next to common.
Right.
You learn this at a very early, at the same age that we learned about Lucifer, we learned that there's things on here that are anti-American. So I'm wondering how many people would open up to even the fact that we have a lot of socialism in this country already.
Well, I think it would have to be really explained to people, like Medicare and Medicaid. Those are socialist. I mean, It's a social. We already, like you're saying, we already have it, but I don't think people think of it that way. I think America is way too built on what's mine is mine. Get off my property.
Right.
They're not into. People share better in a city. Why? Because they're more crowded. America's so big. There's so much room. I still feel like we're pioneer people sometimes, where people are like, this is my property. Keep off my property. We post signs. Keep off my property.
Yeah.
It's posted. Boom. Trespassing. Survivors will be prosecuted. I don't think the sharing idea of socialism would fly with many Americans.
The TV show Bonanza, the Cartwrights lived on just half of a state, and yet they would worry if somebody was riding through,
Right. And this is my Montana.
Right. So people saw that, and they're like, yes, of course, no one can touch your property. Yeah, it's so important that no one rides through or gets water for their horses.
Yeah, or you get a visitor. God forbid you make a friend.
Yeah.
God forbid you could look at that as a fun opportunity. No, I don't think Bernie can win, and I don't think she'll pick him as vice president. I don't think she can.
No.
If she's going to be the nominee, I don't think you can pick Bernie, because then people go, well, if she dies, then we're going to be led by a crazy Vermont socialist.
Oh, I don't know. I think the right has enough hate for her that it doesn't, Yeah, I mean, it would be really about, let's face it. It seems like this is who are they running against thing? Like, I feel like in no way will I vote for anything but against in the next election. It really depends on who gets up on both sides.
Well, out of the Republican side, forever I thought it was going to be Jeb. I didn't know you could have that much money and that much branding and still screw it up. And his head's always cocked, like he can't believe it's happening either. He's always like, oh, God, man, really? Well, dude, you said it again. Like, once a week, he's burying his own campaign. So if it's not him...
Well, Jeb...
It's not going to be Trump.
They changed the rules on Jeb, and I think that's what freaked him out. I mean, the real kind of radicals in this country now are the right. They are where the Democrats used to be years ago, where you really fought within your own party and you were trying to decide what the party was.
Yeah, I feel like the right, like we were talking about outsiders, like if Ben Carson is an outsider, the right far end is extremely crazy, and the left, even the furthest end of the left, would be like a recycling person. You know what I mean? or like we're getting rid of plastic bags. Like those kind of green people would be the far end of the left versus the far end of the right. I don't even know how you define what I'm seeing. What do you call Trump? I don't know. Ben Carson? I mean, I don't know how you would. They're not Tea Party people.
They're just not people who worked in government, and that's what is appealing to people. They don't want to see anyone who's had that job.
That's appealing.
Yeah.
Like, this is what, because one of my brothers says it sometimes. You know, he's always that guy. He's always going to vote for the outsider, blah, blah, blah. I go, if we're going to go play football, and I have a guy who's played football for 10 years, and he's been the quarterback for 10 years, and I have a big guy who's never played, why in God's name would I put the guy who's never played in? I'm going to put the guy, you have to accept the premise, though, that politics is a game. Or a strategy or a business. That's why I never understood the whole, I like him because I understand not being bought, the Trump thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he doesn't owe anybody anything. But the whole thing of, wouldn't it be great because this guy, we did it in California with Arnold. Everybody went for Arnold Schwarzenegger because people are so dumb they really believe that he is the Terminator.
Yeah, they thought he could terminate things.
He's going to get up there and terminate.
But also, like I said, you've heard government bad for so many decades now that people actually believe it and want to see somebody come in. They believe there can be some great white shark who can somehow change everything. Well,
unless it's a king, you can't. You want a good king, bad king. You can't. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger got to Sacramento, and he's like, as it turns out, I can't do what I promised. I got to talk to many people, they don't like me. It's like, dude, even if Arnold was magical, there's too many things involved that I think you should pick the person who knows kind of what they're doing. Like, I would not, let's say I was the mayor tomorrow. I don't know. I'll show up at 9:00. Somebody tell me what to do.
Right.
I don't have the first idea. I guess I have to get an email that says I'm the mayor. I need an email account. I mean, where do you start? Like, why is that appealing? I don't understand why that's appealing.
I think because people want to think that there can be real change, that it isn't just this fucking machine that we're all not in charge of anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people want to believe, that somebody can come in and die hard this thing and just change it. And, you know that it's too big for it to happen. There's too many states. There's too many congressmen.
Yeah.
We have the judge. You're just not going to be that thing. You can't come in and just start swiping stuff. They'll stop you and it'll just be stuck.
Right. I think you can do small changes within the smaller rungs, but like when people say, I don't like the system, it is the system. This is the house we're living in. We can make the little constructions, we can paint walls, we can do this, but the foundation is built. And unless you want to blow up a foundation, and I don't even know how you could ever do that.
Well, it's because we treat the founding fathers as if they were secular saints. And right from the beginning, that's the thing. Like, don't anybody change the ideas that these guys had 250 years ago. But there's nothing else that we would do that for. We wouldn't listen to people from 250 years ago for anything. Certainly not for health purposes,
Maybe hunting.
Yeah, they had leeches on their neck. There have been changes, but God forbid that we'd ever say,
that one idea in the Constitution might have been wrong.
Anything.
Why can't we update?
And completely ignore all their bad ideas. Like, slavery.
They didn't know then.
They didn't know
it wasn't right to own a person.
This stuff they knew about, for sure.
Yeah,
they found that out after they bought their person.
Yeah, or the fact that women didn't vote at all. It then occurred to these wonderfully brilliant people that blacks and women shouldn't even be involved in any of this.
Guys, they kept showing that suffragette ad last night, and I always think if that would have been left up to me, women still wouldn't be voting. I don't have that kind of energy, and I don't care enough. Like, the only thing I would have actually gotten involved in was the prohibition thing. I don't know how us drinkers let that one get by.
Right.
Like, what? What do you mean there's no more alcohol? Clearly, we were probably hammered when they were coming up with these ideas of how to sneak our drinks away. But the suffragette thing, I think, seriously, I don't care enough about voting that I would go through that. I'm not going to jail.
Right.
Fine.
You're not a freedom fighter. You're not going to be one of those people to lay it down.
No, I'm not. Matter of fact, then I'm just going to make friends with somebody and I'll go, will you go vote for me? Here's who I'd like. See, somebody will do it.
Kathleen Madigan is currently on tour, as she's always been. She's performing at the Midland Theater in Kansas City, Missouri, this Friday, October 16th. And then you're at the Peabody Opera House back home in St. Louis, right? You're a St. Louis girl. I know that you were excited with, you had somebody from Missouri singing last night, right?
Oh, me and my sister have said whoever Sheryl Crow's publicist is the most brilliant. She is always singing they're probably not paying gigs, but that doesn't matter. They are the most high profile.
Yeah.
Oh, we're entering the Olympic Stadium. Here's Sheryl Crow. Wow. Like good or bad or whatever. I'm just saying her level of fame doesn't merit necessarily match up with these spots where she ends up where you're like, we found a Martian. It's going to be on in a minute. But first, Sheryl Crow is going to sing her Martian song. You're like, wow, how did she do it again? It's just amazing. And it never, ever stops.
She kind of fits right down the middle, though. You know what I mean? Where she's not hated, but at the same time, you're not going to go crazy because you heard Sheryl Crow came walking out at some gig that you're at.
No, and it's not going to be a mind-blowing version of anything. Like, it's not going to be like, wow, that was like listening to Aretha Franklin sing Amazing Grace or something. No, it's just, it's there, it's fine.
It's very unoffensive.
I believe we're playing the Periscope here tonight, right? On one of the...
Oh, yeah, they're going to, those guys are editing down a bunch of stuff somewhere in this building, I think, right now.
Yeah, and I think that's playing tonight at 7 o'clock. On Raw Dog?
On Raw Dog.
Yeah, so you'll be able to hear it. It was very, very funny, but also at the same time somewhat depressing when you're just, oh, God, oh, jeez.
Well, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I can't listen to, I'm like Lou. Lou gets super mad when they talk about their life story.
Yeah.
He goes, did anybody just have a normal family? Did anybody not work in a factory? And I go, I think you can have your 2 minutes of, here, my dad was a lawyer, my mom's a nurse, whatever.
Right.
But it's, he feels it's the same way in the Olympics where we have to hear their backstory.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to know. He doesn't care about any of that. So he kind of lost his mind over that. I lose my mind over the questions because I didn't learn anything. No. There are real questions that people need to, like, okay, here's one. Okay, Obamacare, if you want to call it that, Lou gets infuriated by that. It's not the care and feeding of Obama. It's health care. It's stop calling. You're saying it now. I go, well, it's because they're saying it. But open enrollment is these particular weeks. And then if you don't get in then, what do we do? What do you do for those? Like, that's a question that's actually a practical matter at hand. Instead of these giant sweeping, Hillary, people think you're a liar. What do you got to say to that? And then she'll just lie. She'll go, I'm not a liar. Well, we know you're a liar. It's an asinine question. I think it's a lot of gotcha questions, and I think it's a lot of, I'm going to be smarter than these people and tell you things that I know that you don't know I know. And then I'm a great moderator. I can't.
You weren't crazy about little Anderson Cooper coming out and.
I thought, what? He was the host of The Mole. I can't. I would rather have an ex-politician, somebody. He's a TV star.
Yeah.
He's no. I know it's CNN, but I would have rather just all Wolf Blitzer, because Wolf isn't doing entertainment news. All Wolf does is the White House. Or go get somebody, all the older Candy Crowley, or all those people that do Meet the Press. Like, Anderson Cooper to me is a television host. And that's not who I want. He picks up the phone every 5 seconds, and when Donald Trump is calling, it's like the Trump channel.
Yeah, it is. Because they both have done reality TV. But I had forgotten about the mole. I had completely forgotten how we had to figure out who the mole was every week. Was that early 2000s? When that happened? It was very the early days of that.
But like when they come up with a new news anchor, I always want to know where'd they come from. Yeah. I know he's Gloria Vanderbilt's son, but what else? Where'd he come from?
Yeah.
And he's a game show host.
Yeah, he's a broadcaster who doesn't matter where you put him, he's going to do a nice, solid job. He's going to bring on somebody or have a parade. It doesn't matter. He counts down the ball every year at New Year's Eve. Everybody's happy enough that she's teasing him, tickling his belly and shit.
But he took this very, I'm going to be tough about this whole thing. Like, he went this very gotcha approach right out the gate with the socialist thing. I can't remember. Maybe it was Webb that he said, "Sir, you agreed to these rules. You agreed to these debate
when
rules."
Webb said, no one's talking to me. That was Webb's big problem.
He said it like 5 times.
My little brother used to have those transformer people. That's exactly what Webb looks like to me. Like, you could just take his arm and it would go in a giant circle, forward or backward. And his head, you could just take it off and put it right back on. Like, he's very boxy. Like, there's questions that I think we could learn something. And if I did make the mistake in a good way of watching the Canadian debates, and they do them in French too. Talk about those people should be in control of us. I don't know how they haven't attacked us. They're much smarter. I mean, every one of them is doing it in French and English. And I thought, and there were questions that, for instance, a question that I think could be answered. Here's how much you make right now as a soldier in Afghanistan, and it's crap. I was over there, and the money's just junk. Can we give them a raise? If so, how will we get the money?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to know that. I mean, these are they're just general questions of do you feel your image is that of a liar? She should have said, I am Mao Zedong, and I don't think you've taken kindly to my new image. Mao is not a liar. Neither am I. I think we've lost any. Debates used to be, there was an assumption that you had knowledge, and that's why you turned it on. Now I feel like the assumption is nobody knows anything, so we're going to start from ground zero. And for people, I do like it. I pay attention. I find it insulting and a waste of time.
Yeah.
Nothing I didn't know today that I didn't know yesterday morning before all of that happened, except I didn't know Bernie went to Russia on his honeymoon.
That's the one thing. But, I always think the idea that debates are so important is funny because these guys aren't going to be debating anyone for 8 years if they get elected president. You know what I mean? They'll be in negotiations.
Right.
They'll be, in discussions. It's either going to be sales or negotiation to bring things down. But they're never going to be in a screaming match back and forth.
It's not how foreign policy works.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Right. What would you do right now about Assad? Give me an answer. Specifically, what would you do? We've let him run. Now, some people we don't let run wild. I think it's weird he's an eye doctor. I think that's awfully weird.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy eye doctors if you start looking at the patterns. So what's his name? Rand Paul's an eye doctor.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I think Ben Carson, when he stands, you should ask him, what's wrong with my eyes? Why are they're half open? I can't get them open anymore. You are an eye doctor. But, a specific question. If you're the president, what do we do about Assad? We have thousands of Syrians running around the world because they're scared and they have nowhere to go. What do we do to make Syria safe? Somebody answer the question. But, Edward Snowden, hero, traitor.
Yeah.
It's not a game show. Traitor, hero. Come on. It's not even a question. You just said a statement. It's not a question. It's frustrating.
It's frustrating, but it is considered, it is reality TV now. It is a form of reality TV, the way they have them all marching out, the way, if you watch the Republicans, one guy's going to be missing every time we do a new debate. Somebody will be gone.
Voted off the island.
Yeah.
I like it when they vote themselves off the island. But they're like, I got to get out of here.
I'm not going to keep throwing money at this. This is crazy. I like Trump is the first one who ever brings up other people's poll numbers. And I never saw anyone do that before. And he's like, look at Mr. 3% suddenly wants to jump into this thing. You're like, really? That's
Bennington looked him up this morning. Loser. I got analytics running on this guy. Every time he says my name, I go up and he goes down. It's like a prize fight.
Yeah.
I really felt like it was almost like announcing Mayweather and why not give us their weights?
Yeah.
Tell us their weights. That'd be Chris Christie on the end. A horrible profile shot for a fat man. We had the surgery. Didn't work that well. He's still working on it, folks, but he's now weighing in at 284, and Rand Paul is 111.
Yeah, the surgery is never going to stop a milkshake. That's the problem there. There's still ways around it. But, the thing about Trump is I do feel like if he doesn't get elected, it's going to be like we didn't see the third act of something. You know what I mean? Like what
will happen?
Yeah, there's part of you that just goes, what the fuck would happen if this went down.
And I see that, but I feel like we have seen that. We've seen it with Arnold Schwarzenegger. We saw it with Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
Like when you take the outsider guy who's popular and he gets there, nothing. That's the thing with even if Trump did. Like, I love, too, that his answers are the same answers I would give. Kathleen, well, what are we going to do about it? I'm going to hire some people. I'm going to hire some smart people. I'm not smart enough for that. I don't know anything about computers. No, I'm going to hire some computer people. That's the answer to your question. That's all he ever says. Well, I'm going to talk to some people. I'm going to hire some people. But at some point, you got to, because that's what Bush said. Remember, that's all W kept saying. Well, I'm going to get a hold of some people that know some stuff, and we'll move on. We're going to go from there. I think we've seen why do you think he would be any different, Trump? Just because he's bigger and bolder? And...
No, I don't think he'd be any different at all. I just want to see the machine stop. I just want to see the whole thing. I mean, I don't think there's much left that you could do other than crack it up anyway and just break it up and try to make it in smaller, more manageable pieces.
It's like that feeling like the end of the world or the end of times is terrifying, but you kind of want to be there to see it.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the people who are around,
you go for me. I don't. I want to know where my bar is and is it open. I don't want anything to do with the end of times.
But the thing is, would you rather die alone or die with an entire planet? That seems to be the exciting part.
We're all in this together.
Holy shit, the Bible was right. If I ever yell that out. Oh my God. They were right down south. This is actually happening.
This is Revelations, right? Are we all in agreement?
Is there time for
is
me
there
to
last
jump in?
call?
Yeah.
Is there last call? Well, that's what I love about the story of End of Times. There is a last call.
Yeah.
First, he comes and gets all the super good people, and then apparently those of us left behind, we have a certain amount of time to get our shit together before he comes back again. So
Right.
there really is a last call. So I see no reason to stop drinking.
Well, at that point, you're going to blame the people who are like, I don't know, I'm still holding off. I'm not totally sure. I see piles of clothes everywhere, but I'm going to hold out.
Yeah.
We'll see how this plays out.
Maybe they ate something weird.
We don't
Who knows?
People disappear. Some people disappear.
I've
That's
seen
what happens.
spontaneous combustion. Yeah. This could have happened when I wasn't looking.
That'll be Penn. When that happens, Penn will be putting stuff up about this has happened before. It's science. Everyone disappeared from science.
It'll be like this Lucifer thing behind him.
What you're seeing now is science. That's all it is. Kathleen Madigan is as funny as it gets. She is going to be appearing at the Midland Theater in Kansas City Friday, October 16th, and then the Saturday in her hometown of St. Louis at the Peabody Opera House. And
the Cardinals lost, so now I don't have to battle that.
Well, and to lose to all people, you know.
I know.
The Cubs, It's
all right, though. I think St. Louis people were like, literally, the Cubs have lost for so long.
Yeah.
I feel like we keep getting burned, though. Like, we had to play Boston after the bombing, so everybody's going to root for them. And then the Cubs, everybody roots for the Cubs. So, but I'm happy for the Cubs, seriously. And I've gone up there as a kid. We used to go up for Cardinal Cubs series all the time. They're very nice. They're very friendly fans. Their bars, they're very nice to us. And we were usually kick their ass over and over. Eventually, you'd think you'd hate us. But it's like the Blues. We lose to the Blackhawks our whole life. We never win. But, you know, I don't hate them. But they're nice fans.
Yeah, people in St. Louis make a good point of putting baseball above everything else, too. Like, they like to be known as the knowledgeable.
It's all we got.
Yeah.
We have beer and we have baseball. We really don't. We used to have some smarter stuff, like McDonnell Douglas used to be bigger and stuff, but that's it. The Cardinals and the beer. And the biggest thing is the Clydesdales come out of center field when we make it in the playoffs. That's the only reason.
Everybody gets very excited.
That's all, if I could just buy a ticket to go in and see that, I don't even need to see the game. And the old man used to ride on the beer wagon in a red suit with a red collar. We worshipped him. I mean, we sang his song. He came out of center field. We were like, here comes the king, here comes the big. 55,000 people singing an ad. We worship this man. You have destroyed our livers, and we love you.
Yeah.
You just couldn't get enough of the guy. Yeah. So it's still cool they bring the Clydesdales out. It makes me happy.
Well, you know, if the Cubs don't win, it's going to be another one of those things of the sadness factor. I think for all of us, we're going to feel sad. Because just like the end times, you want to be the generation that was alive when the Cubs win a World Series.
Well, somebody said in the movie Back to the Future 2, they predicted that the Cubs would win the World Series in 2015.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't a documentary. It was just,
That's why it's even better.
yeah.
Somebody randomly wrote that in a script. What if it really happens?
But they did it because it was such a far-fetched idea that could ever even happen.
I understand,
Yeah.
but they could have picked 2016 or 2014, and they didn't even make it into the postseason.
The only people who will still be crying is Mets fans who just can't stop. I hate being around here with Mets fans because they're cynical and bragging at the same time. It's unbearable to be around those people.
Well, I don't know their MO. I don't even know a Met fan. Well, my friend Keith Alberstadt.
They only come out when they make the playoffs. You never run into them any other time. But they've had to live in the shadow of the Yankees and the celebratory Yankee fans for all these years.
Right.
You know,
So they have a chip on their shoulder.
yeah, they just feel borderline abused. They feel like victims, and they feel that somehow if this team does win, their life will somehow become good. But we know that's not true. They're living in Queens. They're Mets fans. Life is always going to be hard no matter what. But I think it would be fun to see the Cubs win. I think that could be a ball.
Yeah.
I think it would be
agree with
fun.
that.
Who else is left? It might be fun to see Canada win, though, too. They never get to win.
They did 1 year.
Look, nobody has any
93.
reaction to that at all.
Well,
Everybody just says
something really happened to me terrible in 1993. But as a Phillies fan, I'm going to forget about it, move on.
Phillies.
But yeah, just let it go. Just forget about it. We had a nice season. All of our guys are in rehab or belong in rehab now. Man, that's a bunch of guys who are just
Nobody has a broken leg, though.
yeah.
See? And then the Mets pulled him out, walked him out to the field. I'm like, oh, wow.
Right.
And then I think they lost their minds, and then they didn't have any gas last night.
Well, yeah, they just didn't have it, even though it seemed like they were trying to give them the game, right?
In the seventh inning, they were taking 3/4 length swings, and they were like, "Nope, that wasn't a strike."
Yeah, but
was
you got
crazy.
the league wants market number one in this thing.
And they were trying the hardest, and they Mets couldn't get a run in.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
TV sets in this area.
Yeah, their nightmare is like the I-70 series, the Royals against Cardinals.
Yeah.
Only like 10 people care. And
Right.
it'd be 8 in St. Louis and 2 in Kansas City. It's like it's an all Texas nightmare where only Texas, for the networks that would just be horrible. So they still have LA market left. They still have the Canadian. Well, I don't think the Canadians care as much. So the Mets are still left. They have good markets left.
The Canadians care because we took their sport, hockey, and for some reason that's in Florida instead of where it belongs in Canada. But that's I think one of the strangest things we've ever done is really just go take someone's sport away from them.
We've done so many shitty things. And you think that's the absolute
It's
worst.
worse than what happened in the Indians.
Yeah, I was really.
There's somebody sitting on a reservation looking at their radio right now and going, really? Worst fucking thing that ever happened?
Hey, it's a close second.
How about when they took Oklahoma? My whole family, my whole tribe. Remember the tribe that used to live here? Yeah.
That's all gone now, but still. I wonder, if you really stacked up all the shit that America has done over the years and made us really just look at it piece by piece, whether we'd feel that whole greatest thing that we were raised with,
I think a lot of people still would. I don't think people see anything wrong with that. Like, I never thought about hijacking a sport. That's really personal.
Yeah.
It's like, you made up a game. We're going to take your fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to take your pastime. They didn't really steal ours. Like, baseball never really caught on. They only care about hockey. Really.
Yeah.
Even football up there is just odd.
Yeah, it's a strange gimmick.
I watched the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Because I like to see what it's sort of like how cable used to be to network TV.
Yeah.
It's like watching TV in England where they think they're doing a sitcom, but it's really just a play being televised live. It's all creepy and weird, and the lighting is bad. Everything's just off enough that you go, yeah, no, America kind of rules there.
Yeah, that is something that we are very good at as entertainment. You can't take that from us.
That's why when all these politicians bash Hollywood, well, Hollywood, those people is crazy. But I'm like, you better start thanking Hollywood, because what else are we exporting within this amount of money except our music, our movies? That's what amazes me. Like, you go to Australia and their tiny movie theater, it's all our movies.
Right.
I'm like, don't you guys make any movies? Like, what are y'all doing over here? England, go to the movie. It's 10 out of 12 are ours. Like, that's the one thing we still make, an actual tangible product that is being exported by the billions. Otherwise, I can't think of anything else that we make.
No, that other people tend to make it, then we market it. We are very good at marketing other people's products.
And we buy it.
Yeah. We buy it and then we sell it to each other. We buy it cheaper and then we sell it to each other at a marked up. But I don't know where our money comes from anymore. When I was a kid, everybody on my street, their father made something. You know, they worked at Boeing, they worked at Sun Ship, they were all in factories that made stuff.
We don't make anything.
No, and now all my friends work in cubicles somewhere.
We are nothing but consumers.
Yeah.
We don't make, and I don't know, can you exist like that? I don't think you could, except maybe now, because it's a global economy, maybe you can.
Right.
But I think it's weird. We're just a service industry.
Yeah.
Somebody's a lawyer, somebody's you know what I mean? We're all servicing one another, but we're not. There's nothing tangible except entertainment. I mean, I think a CD or a DVD, that's a tangible product. It's not really helping anything, but people want to buy it.
But even those things aren't physical anymore. Now they just exist
online.
Yeah,
kinda.
they list. You pay to view it from somewhere, but it isn't a physical thing. At least when you made a CD, that's something. You know what I mean?
Thing.
People are sitting there making it all day long. What did you do? I made 100 last hour. All right, you're doing good.
Yeah,
and
they won't even the one CD of mine. I don't sell stuff at shows. I don't have the patience for all that. I mean, it'd be like 3 hours. I'm like, that's the reason I took this gig. I work 1 hour. They go out and have a 4-hour meet and greet with half of my fans who are borderline alcoholics, and it's a big night out. I always go to a bar in the town, and I say, "You're lucky if you met the leprechaun." The leprechaun's always out, but you have to get lucky. Yeah. I'll take a picture with you. I'll sign whatever you want, but you got to do a little work.
Right.
It's not gonna come that easy. It's very difficult to find a leprechaun. You got to go all the way to the end of that rainbow. Hope it doesn't go out before you get there. You're not too wet. Your shoes are not. But I know what it was. Lou and I are doing this thing for cystic fibrosis. And they said, can we have 250 CDs to put in the gift bag thing? And I said, sure, thinking it was be no problem. No, we're not making them anymore, Kathleen. I go, well, people want a prize. You know, whatever happened to prizes? Remember that where you just got a gift where you walk somewhere and I can force them to do it, but I'm going to have to buy 1,000. So I have to find a bunch of other charities that want free shit. It bothers me that there's no, but maybe I'm old.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm old.
Because I remember when, we switched over to VHS, right? Where you could start and get the things. And Steven Spielberg was so depressed. He goes, it's small. He goes, I want my movies to come in and be these giant reels that people have to carry up steps and get someone to help them. Yeah. And now you're telling me that's my movie. Somebody could go pick it up and physically hold on to it. And that's the thing that now we don't even have that. You know what I mean? No. It used to be, all right, if let's say Ernest Hemingway could sit around in the rest of his life and look at a bookshelf and go, that's my shelf. I did that. You can't do that with a Kindle, or here's my name written 8 different times.
Right. Well, it also used to be fun. It was creative, to make a CD cover.
Yeah.
You know, it was a fun thing. And then I liked, when I would buy albums as a kid, all the liner notes and reading all that stuff. And I mean, that might make a comeback, but I think what happens if it all, because my brother's a financial guy, I go, what? And then there'll be a glitch sometimes and Pat will go, oh God, he goes, everything's going crazy. It's the stock market, but we think it was a glitch, blah, blah, blah. What if the whole thing went down? I saw it happen at the airport. Mm-hmm. All the computers went down. It was American, all their thing. And everybody was just like, fuck.
Just stopped.
Well, I don't know how do we get these people on the plane? Like we used to. Say, everybody get on the plane. What's your name? Okay, Madigan. Gotcha. It's like a restaurant. Check me off the list. Why are we are fucking paralyzed because the screen went out. What should we do?
Yeah.
Should we call 911? No, board the people on the plane and just get our names. We have IDs. Check my ID. If I got on, eventually we'll know if there's cheaters because there'll be too many people. You got to get off the plane. You're full of shit. You don't have a ticket. It was really weird to see full-grown adults become completely paralyzed. They wouldn't let us. I mean, they wouldn't let us board. They said, "Well, we can't fly. We don't have a list of the people." I was like, "Are we this incapable of doing anything?" So what if the whole system goes down? Then we've lost all of our music.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? Just wiped out completely.
Yeah. It's a weird thought to think how much we've gone into this that now there's no escaping it.
Now you got to remember, we went to the moon without a computer. We went to the moon. And if you look back and you saw those guys at NASA, they're doing math. You see guys with pencils.
Yeah,
and they're writing stuff down. They got slide rules, and they're like, "Okay, here are the coordinates. I just worked it out." We would never trust anyone who said, "I've done some math, and here's where I want you to go."
What?
Yeah,
I've done some math, and I think you should fill up the spaceship. Fill it up.
There are going to be
all
people,
the gas that you can fill.
There'll be a generation that won't be able to get home without a GPS. That they've never thought to themselves, "I've got to learn,
how to read a map."
Yeah, how to read a map, or just remember how to get myself home.
Well, a friend of mine got a DUI a while back, and they took his phone, and Rick goes, "This is a really big problem," and I go, "I know, because we don't know anybody's phone numbers by heart anymore. I know the number of the house I grew up in.
Right.
I could call that family if I'm in jail and hope they're really nice people. Don't hang up. Oh my God, I'm in so much trouble." But we really don't. You can't even call somebody without your phone.
That's really funny because it's the only number we remember, right? The one that from when you were a little kid.
Yeah, I remember friends' numbers from when I was a kid, and I couldn't tell you anyone else.
Yeah,
my family's phone number.
My friend Sue Stifler's basement.
I know.
You can only call the basement. There were 2 lines. Call the basement, Madigan. Call the basement.
All your friends had such husky voices.
Yeah, all smokers.
Call me the basement. Don't call upstairs. My dad will get mad.
But it's like now if you literally come in here, I thought I might have left my phone in the cab.
Yeah.
It's like I left a baby.
Yeah,
it's not a normal attachment. It's an abnormal reliance and attachment. Like I should really, but you have to. But this is how it starts. Like I remember when my agency said you have to get a fax machine. Way back, 10, 15 years. I go, why? We need to fax you things. I go, how'd you do it before? Mailed them. I go to the post office again. I'm not gonna. You buy it. You want it here. You buy it. Why am I being told? And they were like $700.
Yeah.
I go. You want me to go spend $700 on a piece of equipment I could care less about? I'm not interested. I'd rather buy $700 with a beer or wine or a surfboard or something, golf club, something fun. Like I don't want this monster ass machine. But finally, I got pressured into it, and they said so. Then I had to join in. You know what I mean? It becomes the society. Right. Yeah. The pressure is. You have to do, this is what we're all doing, Kathleen. I don't know why you're not doing it. Well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to spend the money or the time or the whatever. Well, and then you can't play in our game anymore. You have to leave.
Yeah, you're no longer a person. You've given up being a part of society because you're not. And it is true. Everybody that comments against this stuff is also still doing it. You can't not do it.
I mean, I don't think you could hire someone who didn't have email, or I'm sure that somebody, if you said,
that's very funny.
I'm the type of person, I don't have a phone on me, I don't think any business would want you.
Yeah, you would be like,
I need to get hold of you all the time.
Now you're the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Now you're that odd. You're like living in a cabin, writing manifestos on a typewriter if you got a hold of one. I'll tell you where you can still experience old life, though, and it's not something I would ever do again. I'm not interested, but it was interesting to do once. I did Lou's Black did the comedy cruise, and out there, phones don't work about 2 miles out, and literally it turns into a party from the 70s. I lost my friends. Remember when you used to lose people?
Yeah. Yeah.
At the bar, I lost Lou and everybody, but I made new friends.
Right.
There was this guy from Buffalo. He was really funny. Like, the freedom of, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. We might get lost. We might not. There's something valuable to that. Like, I go to Ireland every year, and I have a fake conversation. Sprint always tells me everything will work, and it never does. It's very ghetto outside of America.
Yeah.
They don't really, but I also don't care. I went with Lou, and I said, my phone doesn't work. He goes, neither does mine. Who cares? My mom goes, well, how am I going to know you're okay? I go, you're not. You never used to.
Yeah.
Why do you care now? It's because, are you ill? What's the real reason? Why do you really care where I am? Because sure shit ain't about me. A cruise ship, you can experience it. But other than that, no, I think you have to.
But I wonder, even like back in the 70s, did we just force ourselves to assume that everybody was okay when we couldn't get, you know what I mean? Because I don't remember anyone being terrified that somebody was missing for a couple days.
Right.
And we used to do stuff like, if I went to the beach, I would do a thing where I would call collect and be like, I got a collect call from Ron. Got here safe? And my mom would say, no, I don't accept the charges. And then I would see her, like a week later. And everyone did those kind of gimmicks because you weren't going to pay suddenly, $8 or whatever it costs you to make a long distance call. It seemed like it was incredibly expensive.
It was.
If my dad got a call, he would scream at us. It's long distance.
Yeah, long distance.
We would all just have to stand still, frozen, because this important thing was going on. No one could get a bowl of cereal for themselves. But I don't remember people going, oh my God, I'm terrified. I can't find my brother or something. People just went, oh yeah, he's probably okay.
I mean, we didn't, as kids, we didn't have phones and teenagers, and I don't know where, I think we'd say where we were going, but it was vague.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed to care. I don't think people worried as much. I think the phone makes us crazy with worrying. You didn't text me back.
Right.
What if you were sleeping? I mean, why? It's sort of a hyper anxiety level that gets raised because we're setting expectations. I liked it before when I didn't know if you were dead or alive, and then when you'd come around, I'd be like, "Oh my God, he's not dead! It's awesome! It's so good to see you!" And I actually mean that. It's really good to physically see you because you have been missing, and I didn't know what happened. I didn't give too much thought to it, but it's wonderful that you've shown back up in the front yard.
Yeah,
like there was just a joy. There was a much simpler. It was. I think happiness sometimes can come from simplicity, and it was just simpler. My favorite was the party line, though. My parents did that for like a year. I'm like, seriously? We're gonna share a phone line with neighbors, and like you could hear their calls. And you were like, could you be quiet for a minute? I gotta call my friend Cindy. She's having a slumber party. It's very important. Like just chatter.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how about you all? Can you imagine in this day and age saying you need to go share a phone line with the neighbors you may or may not know? I hope you're friends with them because you're gonna hear all their shit. And there's no way anyone would tolerate that.
Well, we don't even share a phone line with people in our family. Yeah. And like after everybody got their own cell phones, I never talk to my sister-in-laws anymore. I used to be able to answer the phone, talk to them for a minute, and then pass the phone off. But now I have no idea, Because what am I going to do? Call them themselves? That'd be weird.
It would be weird. There have to be something wrong.
Yeah, like it's a coma. No, we're doing the best we can right now. Kathleen Madigan, always great to see you. You're so damn funny. She's going to be appearing at the Midland Theater in Kansas City, Missouri this Friday, October 16th. And then the next night in St. Louis at the Peabody Opera House. Go to KathleenMadigan.com for additional dates. On Twitter, she's at Kathleen Madigan. They don't come any funnier. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
I'll see you next time.
Call me. Don't.
I keep waiting to see if Joe is going to be doing MTV Cribs.
Can't wait.
That was my favorite show, I think, this week, and that includes TV and movies.
That's great.
Yeah. By the way, I could not make it through whatever this Will Smith Hustle movie. Remember, it came out last year?
Yeah.
I think it's... And I tried to watch it for 15 minutes twice so far.
Really?
I'm like, I can't understand how I can't watch it. And then I'm going to start to think, has your concentration gotten so bad that if something isn't, unbelievably fantastic, you can't stay with it.
Yeah. That's weird how that happens, right? Like, you're like, it's not bad, but all of a sudden you find yourself like picking up your phone or something.
I'm like, I'll
What's wrong with
Periscope
me?
while I'm watching this.
Hey, just watching a show. Thanks for the hearts.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about something. I watched a Jenny Hutt Periscope where she was going to this Sarah Silverman movie, right? And she's like this, my sister-in-law wrote the book. And I'm like, who has family like that?
It's bizarre.
I saw it. Her hair looked great.
I thought she was going to a Halloween thing because it looked like she was friendly witch, but a witch nonetheless.
She was going for spooky chic.
You know, there are so many big comedy stories out there, including this. If you go to the iBank today, you see a little trailer for the Bill Murray Christmas special. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. And, wow, we've got 8 reasons to get excited for it.
Yeah,
I didn't even
8.
know this.
Yeah.
Now, who's our intern? Is Kashmir here today?
Kashmir's here.
I sent Kashmir in because I am curious. He's a millennial child, and I am curious if he's familiar with the works of Mr. Bill Murray. Wow, look, Kashmir always, always got a kind of comfy chic thing going on. It's very. I mean, I know we're not doing the best dressed anymore, but he would easily win for us.
He's put together.
Yeah.
Do people say that?
Yes,
put together.
he's put together. They normally say it about old ladies, but it works here. Now, you're a millennial, right? You were born in the year 2000. So, are you familiar with the works of Bill Murray?
Not that familiar, but I only know him because he comes to Fordham a lot, my school.
What is it?
I have no clue what he's doing there, but he's always there, yeah.
That's weird.
Partying?
Yeah.
How did Bill Murray?
All right, here are 8 reasons to get excited. This is up, and the trailer had me very happy today when I saw it.
It looked great.
And Mitch Glazer has written this, and Sophia Coppola directs it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to become a Christmas thing for all of us. So what are the 8 reasons, Chris?
The 8 reasons are Bill Murray, Mitch Glazer, Chris Rock, Amy Poehler, Jason Schwartzman, Maya Rudolph, Paul Schaefer, and Michael Cera all being part of the actual special itself.
That sounds pretty damn good.
Those are 8 reasons.
I heard an anti-thing about Paul Schaefer the other day, but I'm not going to repeat it.
Paul Schaefer?
Yeah.
Seems like a lovely man.
I know.
He does seem like it, doesn't he?
I had him on my show once at NEW, and it was a thrill for all of us.
Yeah.
It was me, him, and Fez, and he said this, we're all nasal. These are like 3 nasal guys. Right? And I was like, yes, we are all nasal.
Nasal friends.
Nasal buddies.
Nasal buddies.
We were all just... but I heard somebody say something negative about him the other day.
That surprises me.
Yeah. Well, no, the person's brother even backed him up. And,
Right.
So...
Okay. Gotcha.
So you're not familiar with the works of Mr. Bill Murray?
Not that familiar, no. But he's like a name that you just know.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It just, yeah.
It's like Ben Franklin. That's
Basically,
where
yeah.
we are with this. No, you're familiar with Jerry Lewis.
Yes.
Jerry Lewis said the other day, and this is up on the iBank today, very bad things about Steve Colbert, or as you people call him, Stephen Colbert. He said he just doesn't have it, that intangible thing. He could never play Nutty Professor.
Right.
He could never be the bellboy.
It's a bizarre stance he took, which was that he's so dull, he could work at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Very relatable, Jerry. Like,
Insulting everybody.
you know how when you go into Tiffany's
Yeah.
and they're so dull, the people that work there? No, I haven't had this experience.
That's weird. I didn't even pick up on that, but now that you're saying it, he's got something against some actual person
Right.
at Tiffany's. I have a friend who works for Tiffany's and does engraving.
That's cool.
Her name is Swiss Miss, and she's been a friend of mine for a long time. Gorgeous, gorgeous lady. But I don't know how you do that tiny little engraving work.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I can't. I still would fail first grade for the writing in between the lines. Remember how they would? And then one time they wrote on my paper, she was very angry, and she wrote, too far between the lines now because I went way too small.
What do you want, lady?
I didn't touch the line. She wanted the bottom to touch a line and the top to touch a line.
Right.
She wanted it to be perfect. I remember when the writing was big enough that you would have the capital B would be actually 2 lines and then the E would be in between, like the bottom.
Yeah, there would be a middle dotted line sometimes for the.
I'm actually spelling out the name Bennington for everyone. But this was also hard when you were little to keep the name Ronnie Bennington on one page.
Did you sign your name Ronnie as a kid?
I didn't know my name was anything different until years later. I was always Ronnie.
So cute.
Well, it's not supposed to be cute, is it? It's.
I know, but I think it's cute. Little Ronnie Bennington.
I don't think you want to call a child Ron. Get in here, Ron.
I guess that is a very it's a very adult name for a.
And I remember learning the spell going like when I had to write out Ronnie Bennington all the time. Another N. Fuck. So many N's. I look over and Joe Smith will be done. He's having a smoke. His feet up. He's looking out the window.
This isn't fair.
Sitting there with a nice big sticker on his fucking paper.
There's 10 letters in the last name alone.
This is difficult. All right, so he does like Fallon. He likes Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, he said Fallon's very, very strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strong.
He wouldn't work at Tiffany's. He's great.
He's nothing like a Tiffany's employee.
He'll buy it.
Yeah.
And did he say anything about Kimmel?
He said he doesn't watch Kimmel.
Great. That's a better position to be.
Now people get mad at him, but he's probably not that far off what I'd have to say.
I want him to start watching Kimmel just to see what the comment would be after this whole very, very strong and Tiffany's thing.
I remember when he said Joan Rivers, he threatened to have her killed.
Yeah.
And it was like the last time I talked to Joan. She goes like this: "Well, look, whatever I'm saying, then I'll stop saying it. Forget about it. I don't want to be killed by that man. You want me to stop? I'll stop. That's not why I do my act." She still felt like he was connected after all these years.
Yeah.
But see, they all go back to where the hotel owners were, basically put there by some fucking mob boss. Can you imagine? Like, I hope I have a good set tonight and don't get shot for it.
Is this worth it? Jesus Christ.
Need to go over what they're sensitive on.
Other big comedy news is Eddie Murphy said that he thinks about doing stand-up. He just don't know what he'd say. He goes, I just don't have anything to say anymore.
It's great.
And I wish more comedians, when they had nothing to say, would just stop.
Right.
I'm done making observations. I'm just going to live life.
His observation would be stuff that no one, you know what I mean? Don't you hate it when 2 of your planes that you own are being used by ex-wives?
Sure.
So you've got to you got to rent a third plane?
What?
He's not going to make a reference to someone being like a Tiffany's employee.
No.
No
one's
going to understand this.
He'll say shit like that. He'll be like, can you even tell who your kids are? Because you have so many of them. They just keep running around and you're with one tranny and the whole world has to know about it.
Am I right, people?
I hate that. I think Eddie Murphy is one of the funniest people who's ever lived, but his success, like happened to Elvis, it drives you away from your own species. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're no longer relatable. Like if Elvis's last fucking album should have been called I'm Nothing Like You People. I was at one time. Now I'm totally different.
No, I'm literally a king in America.
Seriously.
You're my serfs.
I am a king. I'm a redneck king. There's not a fucking hillbilly hayseed who wouldn't scream and hand me money every time I saw them.
Serve me.
Yeah.
You plebs.
And then he just started singing anything, just started singing fucking classics.
Grasping at straws.
Well, he wasn't, it didn't matter what he put out. He wasn't grasping at straws. It was there. But a gospel, a country gospel,
They'll buy it.
There was one thing that he put out an album that was just audience patter that he had in between songs. What? And it was an entire album of him saying stuff like, "I love you, Oklahoma. I played all over the world, and nobody's as great as the people in this town where you people are from, under that great flag that means so much to you. Flag and a cross." He just didn't know what human beings did anymore. It was done for him. I mean, I think we're going to be at the place where the Kardashians are there now. Yesterday, one of their many exes went into a coma.
Lamar Odom.
And the mother yelled out, "Get the cameras, we're going to Vegas."
Oh, God.
I guess that's how she talks. I don't know. I made it up. It felt like if I could do impression. You ever watch the Kardashians?
Yeah, I bought the most recent episode last night on iTunes after the debate.
You bought it on iTunes.
Gave them money.
Well, I use my friend's account, so like it was my roommate, so like technically they bought it, but I encouraged it. Yeah.
Now, Kashmir, why do you need to watch the Kardashians?
I wish I knew. They're just so. Because I start watching it thinking, like, oh, I'm like better than their trash, but then I'm reading their Wikipedias for like 3 hours. There's just something about them. It's just
now you feel like you're worse than them.
Yeah, I'm definitely Or I'm at like a Kylie. Yeah.
Now this Lamar Odom, who was with the family for a while, crushed under the estrogen like they all do.
Yes.
Where you can either die, become an alcoholic, or literally become a woman. Just say to yourself,
So your option.
I am a woman. And I saw the trailer for the new thing where Caitlyn comes in and isn't it great we're all together? This is acting like one of the Kardashian girls. And then they went over to the little one's husband that they pushed into the street. I forget his name.
Oh.
He's the little drunk and he's
Scott
Scott
Lord
what?
Disick.
What is it?
Scott Disick.
All right, Scott Disick. And he was sobbing. You know, he had come home. I had everything and now I have nothing. And they're all just sitting around. Every time they have a baby, the mother should just fucking run in and grab it and take it in immediately to have a makeover.
Bring it to a pentagram.
Yeah, and have its ass cheeks filled. But this is where we are now in this country. This is what we do.
Baby's butt isn't big enough, so Kim.
Which one are you doing?
Courtney.
I was gonna say, that's a spot on Courtney.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Courtney is a little bit more of a human,
Yeah.
but she's like a little touch of the Kardashian talk. But Kim is just in full like, like it's not even a
straight
person.
baby talk?
I don't know what Kim's saying. She's so crazy.
Kanye should just say, I wanted to fuck a baby, but I can't. So I'm just going to bang Kim. I saw them for 5 minutes and they were in Armenia or some crazy fucking place.
Uzbekistan.
Doing selfies with obvious street people.
Really?
Yeah. It was insane.
Well, that's their heritage, right? That are Armenian.
Yes. You know anyone who's Armenian because their last name rhymes with Armenian. You just can't get out of it. But what was last night's episode?
That was because it was the episode where the Vanity Fair article really starts to pick up, the one Caitlyn did.
Oh.
So it was like Chris was crying, yeah. And then Lamar was in it too, which was a little...
And then you found out during the episode?
No, I found it during the presidential debate. And I wanted to try and maybe during commercial break switch to E, but no one was really feeling it.
Someone should have brought it up during the debate. Do you blame
I tried
Lamar?
to tweet in the question, yeah. Hillary was not responding.
Yeah.
She was...
Bernie Sanders is like, I'm not talking about Lamar. And the weird thing is Lamar has 2 championship rings. I mean, he played with the Lakers. You could not... He got, I think, 6th Man of the Year. It was an amazing... His career was on this amazing thing. And then somehow, it's like a bunch of Armenians just suck the blood out of him.
Replace it with crack smoke. Because as soon as he picked her up, it just writes the pipe.
There would not be enough fucking crack in the world if I had to hang out with that fucking crew. I would be at the wedding, fucking walking down the aisle, sucking a glass cock the whole way. just all fucking bug-eyed, just like little pinpricks in my eyes when I go, I do.
It's gonna be more crack at the reception.
Yeah,
Right?
and I'm just watching fucking the Kardashian women's fucking heads turning into a cobra head.
Oh! Oh!
Put down that crack pipe. We're all going to get eyelash extensions. You're coming with.
That's always an episode. I saw the wallpaper episode. And I didn't know what to do at the end of it. I go, I don't know which one of them is right.
It's a think piece, yeah.
And I saw another one where they just took the other one's house and put a tent in the backyard and threw a party when she didn't even know what was going to happen.
That was the episode?
What's with the tent? You know, they were all just like, it's not right. And then the other ones were just like, take champagne, have fun. And I'm like,
who does this?
Yeah. And then I had to remind myself, it's fucking worked out in advance.
Producers
yes,
like, hey.
it's in the script.
I know where you can rent a tent.
So, Kashmir, you watched last night? You watched the debate?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right. If you had to vote today, who would you vote for?
I would vote for a Hillary O'Malley ticket together.
Really?
Yeah, because I think O'Malley would be like a really good VP.
All right, so you're actually running the campaign.
Yeah,
You're not just
I have it
voting.
all laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swayed from Lincoln Chafee after I learned his name and who he was.
I'm actually either going to light my ballot on fire or just slit my wrist and bleed all over it.
I think they'll understand what this means.
I don't know whether I could pour gas on my head and light myself on fire in there like a monk. Oh, that's the guy who got in trouble. Was Huckabee for some reason. Tweeted out, I would trust Bernie Sanders like I would trust the North Korean chef with my dog. And everybody got mad at him. Yes. Acting like the Koreans never ate dog. But the thing is, why bring it up out of
I
all
know.
the things in
It's
the world?
not so much that it's untrue.
Yeah.
But why fucking say it?
And by the way, there's people who are eating dog because they're fucking starving.
And we can eat whatever we like, all the delicious foods.
They're on rations.
We don't have fucking barked soup like those assholes do.
At least they can't read this, so they don't feel bad about themselves. They don't have Twitter over there.
Louis Black on Trevor Noah last night, though, and he once again attacked the millennials, and once again I was laughing. I don't remember a generation ever that it was okay just to laugh and point at.
Yeah.
You know? But the millennials are the most hated people that have ever come along.
Fair. It's fair.
But does it have something to do with the boomers' own identity? Like that's
not
got
even
to
just
play.
boomers, though. I mean,
Right.
it's people 5 years older than them.
Yeah.
Hate them. And here's why I think people hate millennials most of all. They're the first generation to not pick up the rock and roll gauntlet. They let the torch fall, and they will stay hated for that.
I kind of want to periscope like a response piece to Louis Black because I feel like I'm a representation of millennials.
You're not, you dope.
No, I'm on
You couldn't be
Periscope.
more.
I'm on Periscope.
does
That
the
means I'm a
Periscope.
millennial. I want to do it right now, actually, like an impromptu smoking with Chris. Could I do that? Is that possible? I'll go downstairs and
Instead
start.
of doing the show.
Well, no, it will
You
be
want
on
a
here.
cigarette, and now you're acting like you need to leave for it?
No, it's a show, Smoking with Chris, that I
Yeah.
want to do. At the same
I don't know if I have that kind of time for you, Chris.
I feel
get
like
in
if
the elevator.
he does, his pay should be docked.
I go right outside. Hey, put it up on the computer. You'll hear everything. It'll be great.
All right.
The audio's awesome. All right. I'm going to go impromptu Smoking with Chris on Periscope.
And who's going to set up the fucking computer in your way? You have none of this fucking ready to go.
I'm putting the pot up.
And we got a lot of shit we need to do today.
I know. The pot is up, okay? So it'll pop up. Do not worry.
Not only will I not worry, I'm going to fucking ignore this fucking bit completely. I'll have nothing to do with it. Joe, you literally are, and yeah, if I can't set up my thing now, you're fucked. You really are a millennial, aren't you? Are you officially one?
Yeah, I'm like the sweet spot as far
Yeah.
as millennials go. You can't get more millennial than me. And that's the challenge.
He's like right in the center. The millennial core.
Do you feel hated?
Yeah, I do. From Louis Black and other people.
Well, no, I think it would be everybody across the board. There's a generation that's hated.
Yeah.
And you're all called pussies because you took trophies. And like every time I have a friend do something on Periscope or online or make a video, it always turns out to how much they despise and hate millennials.
You know, I hear that all the time too when people are like, "Oh yeah, hey, you got trophies growing up." Whenever I got one of these participation trophies, I would always be like, "This ain't shit."
I got participation trophies before, and one time I gave a speech after it. I didn't give a fuck. I go, "Yes, I was part of this team.
We
great team
did this year.
Team. Let's take a look at it. Team.
There's no I in team.
You guys couldn't have done it without me.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done it without me.
I am one of 15. One of 15. All right, this is where Chris does the bet where he's lost. Call in and win with Chris. Do we have our new number set up yet?
No, not quite.
All right, call in and win. 866-766-0339. 866-766-0339. Joey, what do they got to win today? What can they win in that pretty good prize closet?
A signed copy of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the DVD, signed by Andrea Martin.
Now, is Chris going to Periscope this?
I hope so.
Because why do I have him on the phone then?
I think he'll be on the phone. Yeah.
So he's not Periscoping it?
I'd believe not, no.
But didn't he just tell us he's Periscoping it?
That is what he said, but maybe something happened on his way.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a good millennial because the Periscope app isn't working for me and I'm lost again.
All right, where are you at?
Well, I could definitely see the Pacific Ocean.
All right, you're in California then. Come on back.
Still lost.
Huh?
I'm still lost.
Tell these guys to take their... All right, we know who's this? Who's calling?
Yeah.
Where are you calling? Who's this and where are you calling from?
My name's Jeff Wayne. I'm calling from Fort Wayne, Indiana corridor.
Chris can see the Pacific Ocean. Where is he?
What's that?
Chris can see the Pacific Ocean. Where is he?
In the Pacific Ocean.
Chris, you in the Pacific Ocean?
No, I am not.
Sorry.
Incorrect.
Can you give us another clue, Chris?
I just passed one of the University of California campuses.
Murray, do you know where Chris is?
Let's see. He's in, oh gosh. It's where the USC stadium is, Anaheim.
Are you in Anaheim, Chris?
No, I am not.
All right, give us another clue there, Chris.
Incorrect.
I'm only an hour away from Tijuana.
Hour away from Tijuana.
Okay. That narrows it down.
Dylan, you got any idea?
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz is a lot more than an hour away.
Nope. Damn.
Damn.
I'm in the second largest city in all of California.
Oh, is that right?
Yup.
See, I would have thought San Francisco was second largest, but it's not.
No. I mean, I don't know.
Chris, do you know where Chris is?
San Diego? Correct. I'm in San Diego.
Correct.
The Where Am I game show segment is presented by Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. There's a Wyndham waiting. Save up to 15% when you book 7 days in advance at Wyndham.com. Terms and conditions at Wyndham.com.
Now, Chris, are you going to do a Periscope?
I can figure it out again. Yeah, I can go downstairs to Periscope.
Why don't you just stay down there?
What?
Down there in San Diego.
Yeah, you're still in San Diego.
Get a nice tan.
Yeah. All right, Chris, good bit.
Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
I really thought he was doing a Periscope. I didn't know how we were doing that. Did anyone else think that he was going to Periscope?
I thought it was a
show?
possibility.
Did you, Joe?
Well, he called in. I mean, we got a hold of him
even
immediately
before
after.
that, didn't he say, I'm going to go Periscope?
He did, yeah.
And I'm like, how are we going to do it?
Then he put the pot up, too.
Chris, I really thought that you were going to Periscope. I did not understand the gimmick that you were playing.
I'm a confusing person.
Now, did you have any intention of Periscoping?
Well, no, I was getting lost.
Okay. So I didn't get that at all.
Oh.
I thought that we were going to do it as a Periscope this time. I really believe that. Because your reason to leave, would have been a cool one. Like, oh, you'll go do a Periscope during the show. I'm like, that would have made sense.
Yeah, actually, that does make sense.
Yeah.
I just confused everyone.
But I'm like, do we have enough time before we have to break? I'm like, in my own weird fucking world with it then. You know what you did?
What's that?
You improv, and I let you down. I was a bad improv partner.
You're supposed to always say yes.
I should have. But instead of saying yes and, I said what and. That's where I fucked up.
No one ever, they say don't say no, but they didn't say you can't say what. They should be more clear. What do you mean by that?
I know the Periscope actually, our staff actually logged in as if you were going to do it. We were all confused. Was that just like a last minute idea that you had?
Yes, it was. Needed the moment.
No. You know what? I'm going to take full blame on this. I should have did a yes and. What is yes and for? I never even understand that. Why would you say yes to everything?
Yes, and something else. So you're not
something helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So you're adding on to what they're building instead of slapping it down.
When he said I'm going to go down a Periscope, I should have said yes. And what about the break? That's what I didn't understand. That's my bad. That's me not being able to pull it off. I'm the dumbass fucking millennial in this story, right?
Nope. I'm the one who can't get out of this building without getting lost.
Yeah, but that's just a bit that you do.
No.
It's not real.
Anyway, we can get Kathleen Madigan to come back here.
I love Kathleen Madigan.
Everyone loves Kathleen Madigan.
She's the greatest.
You know what? She has her life set up in a way that's fun too. Like she drinks every night, and then she told me she's been doing this long enough that she has friends in every city. So she doesn't look to make new friends.
Right.
She just lets people and see, I don't know, here's where I'm going to be in town. Let's go out to dinner and let's have drinks. And the next night, she's with her San Francisco friends.
I like it. Then you're always visiting buddies. That's
Yeah.
a nice way to do it.
And they only have to see you like once or twice a year, so it's always exciting for them. You know, like, hey, Kathleen's coming to town. Now, what you have to be able to do is be drinking at a good enough level that you can be there while everyone else is drinking at their once a year level.
Right.
And she's able to do that. You know? You got to be Fun Bobby.
Oh, yeah. It'd be great to be Fun Bobby.
Yeah, Fun Bobby doesn't live long. That's the problem with what happens with Fun Bobby. And then if he even does anything real, Fun Bobby lets down the world. You know?
You're supposed to be Fun Bobby.
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, you got bad test results. We were supposed to go to Tijuana this weekend and be crazy. But you know who's like, it's like Fun Bobby for us now, because we have all these great comedians who stop by here. They're in a great mood. And then we leave and go like this. We had a great show today.
Yeah.
Wasn't our show great? Kathleen Madigan did 45 minutes. And that's what it is. Like, yes, like tomorrow I'll go to Chris. Who's our wonderful friend coming in tomorrow? You have tomorrow booked yet?
Not yet.
Sounds like I got to get a new Chris.
No.
You know who'd be perfect?
Who?
Kashmir.
Oh.
He doesn't run off on some idea I've never heard before, springing on me in the middle of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Did you notice that Gail had to get up and turn down the AC because Kathleen was dying?
Yes, I saw her. Saw her clutching herself in the coldness.
Joe, you guys didn't meet about our guest coming in today before the show?
We did. We just kind of thought she was coming in a little bit later. So
You
that
gotta
was
be ready to roll.
miscommunication. Yeah.
When a guest shows up and starts waving in the window, I got to bring him in. That's got to be part of what you're doing. You're a fucking Marine now. And the number one thing to be a Marine is improvise.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to grab a rock and kill the enemy with it, then God damn it, you do that.
Beam to death.
No,
not
by the
Kathleen
way,
Madigan.
I'm just saying, yeah, you're, instead of beating, like your rock wouldn't be that, it would be a nice cup of coffee and maybe, a throw pillow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we're using killing as the analogy of having a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Comfortability.
But we all love Kathleen Madigan.
Adore. That's why we care.
And look at all of our great friends. Can you believe that we are friends with the Bonfire?
No.
The Bonfire is our friends. And they're going to be on TV
At
tomorrow night.
midnight, yeah.
At midnight?
It will be at midnight.
Now, is at midnight Thursday tonight? Thursday?
Tomorrow is Thursday.
But at midnight, it becomes Friday tomorrow.
Ah.
That's my problem with the at midnight thing.
That's a problem. That's why they should have gone with 11:59.
Yes, that's better.
Almost midnight.
Yeah. Almost midnight. Now you know what time, what day we're on. So, Big J texted me and said, when I get off this oddball thing, I want to take you out to dinner. And I go like this, only if you win at midnight. And I don't know how you have to win. It seems like someone just hands out points at the end.
They yell points at you.
You
Points.
they say, he just says points when you say something funny.
They
seems
love the yell points.
Yeah, points. That's the thing. It seems pretty arbitrary. I don't know. I don't think there's any set amount of points for every question.
Why isn't it just point? That seems like it makes a little bit more
Because you
sense than
got
we can
more
tally.
points. Like sometimes he gives you 35 and sometimes he gives you 10.
But he never
And I'm
does.
only
He
guessing because I
specify.
haven't seen the show.
But he never says 35 points.
No, he doesn't do that. He just yells points. See, I yell points when I watch Red Zone. I yell points. And I feel like, have you ever done this? Have you ever watched Red Zone for the 1 o'clock game and then the 4 o'clock game you can watch? No matter how much scoring is in the 4 o'clock game by itself, it doesn't seem like enough scores because I've just been through a madhouse 3 hours of points, fumble, points, block kick,
boxes,
interception. I'm going crazy. And then I'm like, okay, Iggs are on it for, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Ball control. So slow.
Boring. The first time I saw Red Zone, I was at your house, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to follow. This is addicting. Immediately. I'm in the situation room right now.
Never stops.
Well, the fun thing is, while it's happening, but then when it's done, it's like being back to your house after being in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like after I watch Red Zone, I just want to spend a week depressed. You know, I've used up all my adrenaline.
Yeah, you're coming off of that high.
Yeah, it's a speeding high that I wish, like the news, could be Red Zone. You know what I mean? I wish that we were just going to breaking story to breaking story. I wish there was a house fire followed by, a kidnapping, that a man that's threatening to jump, just red zoning the news.
They would love it. It's a terrible night. We're at a quad box right now.
Oh my God, the country's coming apart. We are dying. That girl is being raped as we watch, but we've got to break away from it. There's a man on fire in your hometown. Oh, just a second for Red Zone. There's a cute kitty. Look at him.
Oh.
He's funny in that squirrel skin.
This is great.
How does he do it?
How does everything wonderful happen at the same time on the News Red Zone?
You never have to be alone with News Red Zone.
And by the way, let me just take this and throw it because you know what? Give me one of these other waters. It's like no one cares if Ron is drinking or whatever. I didn't have any of Kathleen's plugs in front of me. I was like a crazy person today.
No. It's not you.
Hold on. Here's my medicine.
Delicious water.
Hydrogen and oxygen mixed together perfectly.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, you really turned me on to that combination.
Yeah. Well, I used to do H2O, and that was, what a kick. My mouth was numb. But we know enough comedians that we probably could do Comedy Red Zone, and we just zip along getting punchlines from everyone. No setups, no hi, how you doing? It's just a straight hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That would be the best. I don't think you could get any more excitement than that.
I don't know whether we'd ever go back to seeing somebody do an hour by themselves once we had hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I'm addicted to punchlines.
That's all. No setups. No, how are you guys doing tonight? Or put your hands together for yourself, New York.
I don't want to hear, I'm working on something new. It's not quite together yet.
I mean, the second someone looks at their nose, boom, we move to another set. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
If you want to stay in the Comedy Red Zone,
we'll open up a club.
You need to be crushing at all times.
We'll just do Comedy Red Zone, and the comedians will all be doing their stuff at the same time, and you just push one off the stage and the other on. You're losing it! He's on! Comedy Red Zone! Keep it going! And the second someone says, so how you folks doing? Shoved off the stage.
Where are you from? Where are you guys from?
We're going to break away now. See, that's what you need. You need to have a thing where you're following every comedian in the country at the same time, and you just start breaking away as they bore you. Kashmir, where are you? You're a millennial. This has got to appeal to you.
That's, because I can really only pay attention for like 5 second spans.
This is perfect
ideal,
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be the slug line. Comedy for the dumb millennials. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Give me a slug line, Joey Jojo.
I haven't seen a set like this since prior in 79. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
See, I don't know if I would go with that. All right, you got one.
This is Smash Mouth stand-up. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I would go, here's mine going to be, bip, zap, bop, hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Give me one, go.
All commercial free, all the time. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I like the fact that you're doing it in kind of a guy's voice.
Yeah. There's no place for women.
No, there's no place for women at all.
If you want to stay in the red zone.
Can I tell you something? Dan is like my Madison Avenue guy. He's always ready to take something and slap it in. What do you got, Dan?
He's putting the whole club on his back right now. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
Although, here's the thing. We're taking, that could be ours. We take the spotlight away from funny comedians. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. The comedy belongs to us, not them. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Yeah, I mean, we'll let you set the bit up. Right. That can work. That's all you. Yeah, but after that, nail us or we're gone. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I wanted to make it sound like someone's dick is on fire. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That worked.
I think I could probably turn this around and sell it to Raw Dog at an impossibly low price, but I'll still sell it.
I like violent imagery with that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
heads will explode. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
You'll jizz all over your own mom. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. All right, Dan, you're picking up on it now. You realize it isn't about the art anymore. It's about the adrenaline. Give me one.
They got to leave it all on the stage tonight. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I feel like you're a boomer with this, Dan. I got to tell you the truth. Chris, you're young, you're fresh, you're in your face.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Everyone want to smoke crack and watch comedy? Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That's closer to what we're doing. It's like comedy in a crack pipe. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
Laugh so hard you'll shit yourself. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
It'll melt your balls to your dick. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I like where we're going. You'll laugh even if your dad just died. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. This is the stuff you'll be stealing and putting on Twitter. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. See, while we're doing this, Kashmir's already thought of 18 different things because his little millennial mind can't stay here with us.
That's why Red Zone's perfect for him.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I need. Yeah.
And you communicate in hashtags, right?
You do.
That's all, yeah.
Yeah.
And emojis.
Oh, love the emojis.
That's perfect.
We need a good hashtag Comedy Red Zone emoji combination.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's just someone laughing, but their hair's on fire.
Right.
There's nothing different between a scream of pain and a laughter of joy. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
You'll never stop laughing until you kill yourself. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
Okay.
You actually want to do that now. I saw this. Wayno just said to us, "Holy shit, we're going into the hashtag comedy quad box." Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. A hashtag a quad box. And I'm going to explain it because I know you're not a sports guy, right?
I was picturing like a rectangle.
Well, here's what it is. One guy, he's just showing you touchdowns all week. Comedy Red Zone. The actual Red Zone is the most thrilling thing that's ever happened in the world of sports. So much it ruins sport. So if there's two things, you get to double box up because two guys are going on for touchdowns at the same time. Up every once in a while. There's a try box. You can't believe it.
Yeah.
3.
What's happening?
The most exciting thing, and normally is only the end of the game, the quad box.
Oh my God.
Where you're watching 4 different games going for scores, most of them to decide the game at that point.
Yeah.
And I am just up and I punch my fucking TV and I yell out, "Why can't we do this with comedy? Why can't we do this with comedy at the same time?"
Sensory fucking overload.
You're listening to a comedy quad box just like, I'm laughing at everything. Everything's great.
Corey says this, "Stay for the laughs. Leave when there's silence." Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That's a good one.
Bobby says, "Laughing may cause cancer." Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Captain Dick says, "Bring on hashtag Comedy Red Zone." Once again, awesome idea from hashtag Bennington. I got news for you. I think we might be able to even do this. Alex says, "Keep your eye on the punchline." Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That's pretty good. Rich said, "We're going to the Stan Hamley bathroom camp." Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Highway to the hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I like that. Alex says he would have worked that room with the skill of a seasoned vet. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. These are exciting.
This is exciting.
This is the only way to live now.
It is the only way to live.
Back.
Yes, there's no going back.
It's
going
over.
back is for cavemen. I mean, we're never going to go back to Bruce Jenner. Why can't we just keep moving forward?
Don't be a fucking caveman.
Why
Hashtag
is-
Comedy Red Zone.
Why is there only red zones for football? Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Now, this is the kind of stolen idea that can make us billionaires.
This is marketing at its best.
Where you take something someone else does and you just move the content to yours. Comedy Red Zone. I love it.
And then you never have to stop.
Kevin says this: all the day's punchlines played in order at the end of the show. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. When you approach comedy climax, hit up hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Eyeballs will be ripped out. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. It's time for the Sunday Punchline Montage. We'll see you next week on hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That's something that they do, and I'm going to explain this to you because I know you don't understand sports, Kashmir. At the end of the show, you see within 3 minutes every touchdown that has been scored.
It's amazing.
And you're like, Bob,
But that's-
yeah, no, please. So much better than church or whatever God put this day away for.
This is a problem. I'm addicted.
Too much fucking tuna. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Alex says, comedy's so easy, the millennials can follow it. Punchlines to your dick. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I like the idea of this. I like the idea that this just can happen. To the 15, to the 10, the 5, the punchline. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. It made Oprah cry. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. You'll never see your wife again. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Joey Jojo, let's see what you got here.
You'll laugh through your ass. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
You know what?
That good?
I think it is. You know why?
Why?
It's in your face, dude.
Okay.
This is extreme.
Yeah. And I think the next time you get diarrhea, you should yell, I'm laughing through my ass.
You hear this, everybody?
All right, Dan is going to come in, and he really needs the millennial up on us.
Laugh, laugh, laugh. Comedy Red Zone. Hashtag.
I like it.
Hashtag at the end, too.
I could have used one more laugh in there. That was my only problem. I didn't feel like it got all the way into my brain meat.
The rule of 3 is old school.
Yes.
This is new. 4.
4.
Like a quad box. Like a comedy quad box.
Don't bother wearing pants because your laugh boner will rip right through them. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That, by the way, is the best one I've heard yet. You just got punchline. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Coming up next, Carlos Mencia and the Steelers strike again. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. It's so funny your balls will deflate. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That I like.
The fastest 2 minutes in comedy. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I can't see colors anymore. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. And that's all we want. White light. And bleeding is not off the table. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I like it's the door to the hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That's a fucking strong one. I got laughter burns on my taint. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Grab yourself some herbal Viagra and get your ass to the hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That's what got Lamar in so much trouble. Some things aren't funny, like Lamar.
That's not funny.
Yeah.
That'll never make it in the red zone.
No.
Too soon.
Pull it. Go to someone else. Still people. Just shoot to someone else.
Clash of Comedy Titans on Comedy Red Zone.
I think it would be fucking great for somebody if they show up like they're on Comedy Red Zone and then the punchline gets so lame that they just get yanked back out again and they can't do it anymore. You know, I know Wiki is on vacation.
Yeah.
In Vegas, him and Lamar went out for a couple days.
Okay.
As they said, a natural Viagra run. But I haven't heard from him, but I'm going to assume, like in the 70s, everybody's great.
Yeah, I think he's...
But this idea is $1 billion idea. This can keep Wiki from being fired next week. Perfect. Wait, I forgot.
Dumb.
So much shit I'm supposed to just... When people say, keep this between us, I forget I'm on the air and I'm talking about stuff.
Comedy Red Zone could save anybody, though. This is a fucking $1 billion idea.
Thank you. Wait a minute, why are we saying billion instead of multi-billion-dollar idea?
Multi-billion.
What did Facebook sell for?
It sold for like $20 billion.
I didn't even know it sold. Well, fuck them.
They're out of the red zone.
Listen to this. Mock, Bliss, Okerson, Today, Pepper's Parlay. These performers will not be seen on a hashtag Comedy Red Zone. No need to check your fantasy stats at hashtag Comedy Red Zone. It's like being kicked by a horse with laughter. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. People sending this. I should have put it out to the Bennington Twitter. I got so excited I forgot to explain to the millennials how the world works.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Teach us.
I'm opening up a millennial restaurant for just kids, and it's called Food is for Your Mouth. But
I'm in.
Because they don't always remember. This is the greatest idea ever. Now, I'm going to invest in this, and I'm nervous, of course, because my last investment went so bad.
What was that?
I had a food product out called, and it's a dumb idea now in hindsight. It's called I Can't Believe It Is Butter. And it was...
Just really bad butter?
Yeah, it was butter. That was so disgusting that when I would give it to people in a blind taste test,
that can't be butter.
Yeah, it is. I swear to you.
No, it's terrible.
You look at this, you can't believe it's butter. It's that bad. Here's the problem. Do we lock this in and go for it?
Mm-hmm.
Or let somebody steal our idea? I mean, do we just shoot out there and own Comedy Red Zone ourselves and probably fall on our face doing it, or take our time to put it together properly?
Here's the problem. The way Comedy Red Zone is done, it's off the cuff. There's no planning.
Right.
You can't. So, in the spirit of Red Zone,
right,
it's that. And we can't risk someone taking this idea.
No. You know, there's always some lunatic who's going to get a half an idea, go jumping into it, and end up shooting their dicks off. And I'd like to believe we're those guys. This is America.
I'm willing to shoot my dick off for Comedy Red Zone.
Whoa.
It'll make you disappointed in your own children. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I already am, Joe.
Hey. The thing is, though, there's no breaks with Comedy Red Zone.
I didn't think of that. How we sell commercials? They go commercial free.
That's their whole gimmick.
Yeah, that's the stupidest. This is the dumbest idea. No. Matter of fact, this idea is going to lose $1 billion.
How does actual Red Zone do it?
We don't know where the commercials go. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. We haven't figured out how to make a profit off of this idea. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. I'll tell you one thing. I think the comedians will be excited about it because it'll take some of the pressure off of them. You know?
They're only getting their best material out there.
Right. So if you're doing an hour, right?
Yeah.
The masses are only going to see about 1:05 of that.
And your best 1:05.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the goddamn punchline.
Just your hot pocket bit, dude. That's all we want. So every time we send a cop, and we're like, if we got a hot pocket bit, do it when the fucking Comedy Red Zone goes off. Let me just read some of these things people sent us slug line. Fucking comedy seizures. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Did not see the wife joke coming, but that's his style. Old school. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. There's a 4-drink minimum at hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Punch, laugh, move on. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. That's good. Chop up some punchlines at hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Consider a world without laughter. And now tell that idea to go fuck itself. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
That's the best.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a fucking good one. Ron Funches and Bunches. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
Yes.
That joke just got me 7 points in my fantasy league. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Fucking thrilling.
Commercial free. That's why we're wearing Depends. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone.
I think we had every spot with that. And I think that our logo, that emoji that you're looking for, is just flapping ass cheeks. No one's ever done that before, and I think it would be perfect. But that's what we're doing here. We're trying to put together an entire concept. So hot, Gurion only needs 2 scarves. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Best defense is a good punchline offense. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Quad box. Schumer, McFarlane, Leggero, and Silverman. Holy shit. Somebody's trying to follow Greer Barnes. Hashtag Comedy Red Zone. All right, we're going to go commercial-free Comedy Red Zone. Do I break first, Chris? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break now. If you have loved ones, I would call them and tell them to quickly sign up for SiriusXM because a new format is being born before your eyes. You'll be able to hashtag it during the whole show. It's hashtag Comedy Red Zone. Back in moments with a gift to you, our listeners. This is Bennington.
Non-stop sex. Punchline after punchline after punchline. The most jacked up crowds you'll ever hear. This is the Comedy Red Zone. And here are your hosts, Ron and Gail Bennington.
Welcome to Comedy Red Zone. We're going to be with you, bringing you only the best choice bits from comedy all over the country. I'm Ron Bennington.
And I'm Gail Bennington. Great to be here. Excited for today. We've got strictly headliners here. No open micers, no middle acts. We're giving you best bit material.
It is the perfect night of comedy. You're not going to hear any crowd work. No one's saying, let's keep laugh free, because we're finding out right now Dave Attell is killing it in the Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's not waste any time and get there right away.
Let's throw one out for the ladies. Now, is size important, ladies? Exactly. That was a little too quick. All right. But there's such a thing as too big, am I right? I mean, like, if it's big enough... No? Who is this girl? Who is this girl and how is she able to sit down? That's what I want to know. Like, let's say his dick was snow and it was so big it could close a school. Would that be... I did that one for the South Jersey people. No? All right. Women are amazing, okay? Going down on a woman. Does any guy know how to do this good? No. Who said that? Miss, how come you're not sitting up front and this wall of hate is up here? I don't know what I'm doing down there. This is what I do, okay? Are you with me? This is what I do. I pretend I'm in a bank robbery. Yeah. I get low, I shake, and I just wait for instructions. I'm like, Thank you. You've been to a bank. You'd have to go to a bank to understand that. I assume women like when a guy does that, right? Here's a fun thing to do next time, okay? Next time your guy goes in that area, do this, okay? It'll blow his mind. Come eventually. I mean, it'll just, as a goof. Just as a goof. Move around, blink, twitch, do something. I mean, really, I don't think a sex act should be longer than a Civil War reenactment, but that one is. If you even yawn, I'll high-five your foot. It's over. We're done. We're watching TV.
That's David Tell at the Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia. Multiple laughs, multiple applause breaks, but it sounded like he was ready to start easing down a little bit, so it's back to Comedy Red Zone.
Attell is always dominating the stage. This guy dominated at Helium just now.
And who's ever going to forget, if his dick was snow, would it be big enough to stop school today? David Tell at Helium Red Zone. I'm hearing a buzz right now out in San Francisco. What are we looking at, Gail?
That's right. We're going to go to Amy Schumer at the Fillmore in San Francisco.
Amy Schumer, big star, movies, TV, and now we hear a book deal, and now she is on Comedy Red Zone.
I think as a woman, as you get older, you get lazier just by looking around. No, I work in Vegas a lot. That doesn't sound awesome. But I do stand up in Vegas a lot, and I see these packs of young girls that still have the energy, you know, just a pack of girls all wearing tube dresses, right? And just the heels they can't handle. They have to hold each other and do like Wizard of Oz walk, chain gang kind of. They all look identical. It looks like a horror computer just shot out a prototype and they just started walking. Tonight's the night. you guys? I like seeing them at the end of the night. You know, like it didn't work out. They're carrying their heels. They're crying their makeup off. It looks like they're melting. Why didn't anyone pick me? You have puke on your tube, Amber. It's all work. It's work having a vagina. That's work. Guys don't think that it's work, but it is. You think it just shows up like that to the event? It doesn't. Every night it's like getting it ready for its first quinceañera. Believe me. It's a lot of work. It didn't used to be work. I know that from watching vintage porn. It was no work. Zero. I remember my mom bottomless when I was a kid. And it was just... It looked like the black smoke monster from Lost was just following her. It's like, is mom being swarmed by bees? What is... And then something happened. I don't know. Like 10, 15 years ago, all the dudes got together and had like a meeting. Like a fantasy football draft about our privates. They were like, we can't get in there. It's like Vietnam trying to... What do we do? And then they just came to us and they were just like, ladies, would you mind looking like babies again? And we were like, what do you mean? Just clean up the sides a little bit, or the whole enchilada?
It's Comedy Red Zone, and that's Amy Schumer talking about vintage porn muff.
I love watching Amy Schumer work. She's a real Cinderella story. It's amazing watching her career take off the way it has.
Absolutely. We were about ready to take you to Dan Soder, but we understand that he was just drinking water and saying to the audience, so what else is happening? What else is in the news? So we're going to push this along. We're waiting to hook up with the Vic Theater because it sounds like Hannibal Buress is jumping into something.
That's right.
big.
We've got Hannibal Buress at the Vic Theater in Chicago, Illinois.
It's Comedy Red Zone, only giving you the best comedy when it's happening, as it's happening.
One of my favorite things about coming back home to Chicago, I get to hang with my niece and my nephew. They're 6 and 8, or they were 6 and 8 when this joke was written. 6 and 8. I gave them both a couple bucks. Their father's a finance guy, so he's teaching them about money early on. He says, there's 4 different things you could do with that money. Names it. Buy something. What else? Save it. What else? Donate it. What's the last one? Invest it. And part of me wanted to say, you can also gamble that shit. Listen, the Bears are minus 3.5 points against the Titans. They're going to crush the Titans. That's a soft line. You need to get it before it moves up to 4. The running back is washed up. They got holes in the offensive line. I take it up to 6.5, honestly, if you can get it. 6.5. When I gamble on sports, it makes me wish horrible things on other teams' players. I have money on Game 7, Heat versus Spurs. It was tight in the fourth quarter. I started thinking, you know what? If Tim Duncan dropped dead right now, I feel like the Heat could rally around that. And maybe they'd be energized by Tim Duncan's sudden death and the Spurs wouldn't play so well because they're sad about it, There'd be lots of grief-related turnovers. Just hella 5-second violations because Ginobili's holding the ball, just looking off into the distance, sadly. 5 seconds, Heat ball. Hell yeah, we're going to cover. I'll be the worst courtside reporter. So Dwight Howard, how do you feel like your 12 missed free throws affect the people that bet the over? Sports frames my thinking in a weird way. I went to this poetry event in Charlotte. This woman got on stage. She said, this piece is dedicated to my sister. She's been in an abusive relationship for 17 years. I said, holy shit. So she's been getting her ass whooped for Kobe Bryant's entire career. The whole time, from him going on prom with Brandy, getting drafted by the Hornets, traded to the Lakers with Vlade Divac, coming off the bench behind Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones, winning the dunk contest in his rookie, and she was getting her ass whooped while all that was going on. Even when they won a couple championships and they brought in Karl Malone and Gary Payton, that didn't work out. They got swept by the Pistons. She was getting ass whooped while that was going on. We were doing the rape charge in Colorado, the 81-point game in Toronto. She was getting ass whooped. You telling me that Sasha Bowie just came and left, but she was still getting her ass whooped?
We jumped right out on the applause because he had them. at the Vic Theater in Chicago. That's the one and only
Hannibal Buress. Hannibal Buress is taking it to the house. You know, for a moment there, I thought they had his back against the wall, but his back was literally against the wall because that's stand-up comedy.
You know, I don't see how Bill Cosby could have a problem with Hannibal. He's so funny, and even if he brought down my career, I'd say I was still a fan. I'm Ron Bennington, there's Gail Bennington, and this is the Comedy Red Zone, bringing you the best stand-up comedy as it's happening. I am hearing that a young man who recently got engaged is tearing things up in Los Angeles. Let's jump out to one of your favorites, Gail.
That's right, this is Joe List.
I have horrible anxiety. My friend told me I should meditate, so I went to the bookstore. I picked up the meditation book. Page 1, it said, "Only that day dawns to which you are awake." I was like, well, this book is for somebody else. I'm having a panic attack trying to break down the first sentence in this book, so evidently I'm too dumb to meditate. I don't really understand meditation. My friend's like, you have anxiety, you should meditate. I'm like, oh, I should sit alone in a room with nothing but my thoughts? That's a cure for anxiety? What's your cure for my ADD? Sudoku? I don't really... I had to quit drinking because that was giving me too much anxiety. And I should be more clear. I had to quit drinking because I was an alcoholic, and that was giving me anxiety. You got to be clear on that, because otherwise it's confusing. People are like, drinking helps anxiety. I'm like, well, probably we drank differently than each other. You know? Some people drink and unwind. I would unravel. There's a difference, you know? Waking up covered in bruises and street signs, not as relaxing as you might think it would be, you know? I'm like, this might be a sign that it's time to stop. My friend's like, what is? I'm like, this stop sign. It's a literal sign to stop. When I was a kid, my family used to use the word happy to describe drunk. Like, instead of hammered, they were like, we were getting pretty happy last night. That'll sort of plant the seeds of alcoholism in you. When you're 9 years old and you think happy means drunk, you know. I'm in 3rd grade. My teacher's like, what makes you happy, Joe? I'm like, I'm actually not old enough to be happy just yet.
Joe List going out on big applause because it's the Comedy Red Zone, when we only bring you the hottest comics who are standing in the heat. That was Joe List, but sorry, ladies, he's off the market.
Sarah Tolamash and Joe List are engaged now.
Fantastic news for Sarah, sad news for every other woman and some men in the United States of America. This is Comedy Red Zone, and Gail, what a night it's been tonight.
It's been incredible. These folks come to tell jokes. They're on stage, they're telling jokes. That's what you do at a comedy club.
And we're only going to go there for their best material. Not there for the warm-up, not there for the check spot. We are making sure we're pulling the prime bits out of every single comedian. That's why we are Comedy Red Zone. Nate Bargatze is killing it at Go Bananas in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's owned that club for quite a few years, Gail.
He dominates.
So let's go quickly to Cincinnati, Ohio. Here's Nate Bargatze.
Just dominating. I'm running out of phrases that they say.
The biggest message that I remember at the hospital, they're really big on they're like, all right, whatever you do, let's just try not to shake this baby. That's like the number one thing. I didn't even think about that until they bring it up. And then they bring it up. And because they tell it to you, they're like, obviously you're going to want to shake the baby. But it would be so awesome if you just did not shake this baby. And then they showed me a video of like a guy that's like, here's what I do instead of shaking my baby. Like he was like, I take walks, for instance. I walk 70 miles a day or something. I was like, it is so much. I've never even seen the baby, if you want to be honest. And then I signed a certificate, like I was in kindergarten, that said, all right, I swear to God, I promise I won't shake the baby, all right? Quit asking me. I've never heard the word shake so much in my entire life. That's all we talked about. And the first night we got her home, like, I remember we were just delirious, and she was like crying for like 6 hours, and you're just trying to get her to sleep, and I was like, wait, are we supposed to shake this baby? Is that what they said do? I don't remember. This seems like a good time to do it. We didn't shake her, so y'all, you don't have to call anybody. We have rocked her aggressively, but there's a difference.
That was Nate Bargatze and Go Bananas in Cincinnati, Ohio. What'd you think of that set?
You gotta admire a guy who seems like he's rocking a small room, and the energy is not there from the crowd. Nate is pulling it up. We were about to go back to Dan Soder, but from what I understand, he's at the Where You From, Are You Two Married part of the show. So we're going to kick back and wait for some of the best comedians. It seems like right now it's a little bit of a sour time, and we're going to stay here in studio. Now remember, if two comedians are hitting it big, we'll go to the double box here on Comedy Red Zone. We've even gone as far as the quad box before, where you'll get 4 great headliners doing comedy at the same time.
Right now we have a lot of comedians in setups right now.
Setups, so it's a little... Wait, I'm just hearing from my producer, it seems like a heckler is attempting to take on Todd Glass in City Hall Comedy Club in Davis, California. This won't be pretty, but I expect it to be funny. It's Todd Glass in a heckler drop.
Many times when you tell a customer to shh, about 95% of the time they turn and go, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then you almost feel bad for reprimanding because they're so cool about it. That's what happens 95, if not 99% of the time. Shh. And they go, oh my God, I'm sorry. They're like, oh, you know, just want to let you know. And I told that woman to shush. She gave me the finger and said, who the fuck are you? But because I wasn't a waiter here that has to kiss your fucking ass, I gave it right back to you. Is that the way you treat people when you think you can get away with it? And notice you didn't interrupt me, because that's you can't, don't kiss me, sit down, you fucking whore. What I just witnessed is that was a waiter or waitress that had to, no, you don't get to do it here. You don't get to fucking have your way. Oh, no, this isn't.
Bye-bye. Bring back Tom.
You want to win so much, man, and here's why you think. I repeated the story. If I would have said shut up and you were shut up or used the F word, then you would have been right. But you know the truth is I went shh, and you gave me the finger. They're your true colors. You enjoying this, people? This is just letting this woman see what it's all about. Now you don't get to talk. You get to fucking leave. And don't ever treat a waitress or a waiter or anybody in the service industry like that again when you can get away with it. You didn't get away with it tonight. You fucking got caught with your bullshit. And this could be a defining moment for you in your life. You could go, oh my God, I felt embarrassed and the crowd applauded, but I realized maybe that was wrong for giving her the finger. By the way, if I told that story and she would have went, oh my God, that was wrong, it would have been over. But she stood up. She got up here, she got the shit. She's been dishing out that shit for years. So if anybody in here feels bad for her, please, I beg of you, don't. Please, thank you. There you go. I appreciate it. Now you'll be next and you fucking bloody shit.
Todd Glass versus hecklers, still undefeated and a high moral point Todd comes with every show. It's Comedy Red Zone.
It's great to watch him regain control like that. You just can't shake this guy.
No, you're not going to be able to pull him off. And it's coming back very, very quick here on Comedy Red Zone. Back to Chicago, Illinois, at a place called the Lincoln Lodge. It's the one and only Eddie Pepitone on Comedy Red Zone.
And I enjoy saying Seabiscuit because he once was a great horse. A lot of horses are just being chopped up and used in hamburgers overseas.
Imagine if they knew what horses it was that they're eating, like they're serving them like, oh, that was a Triple Crown winner, Bob. That was adjusted.
I don't know what the names of horses are anymore. Adjusted popped into my head because I just did my taxes. So what? It wasn't a great improv. I could have said that horse's name was Clarified. Or whatever the fuck these idiots name horses. These scumbags who own horses and then race them, then they shoot them when they stop winning, and then they fucking eat them. And we're all at the track going, go, you son of a bitch! Pretty soon you'll be in my burger. I don't care what happens to you after this race. I am all about instant gratification. I am an American. After this race, I'm smoking a joint and I'm watching Breaking Bad. That's all I do. I go from one pleasure to the next. I jerk off to bondage pornography, then I watch Breaking Bad, then I smoke a joint, I watch The Wire, then I smoke another joint, I watch The Sopranos, then I read an article about the horrific shit going on to horses. I act like I care, but then I smoke another joint, and I jerk off to Breaking Bad. Now
I used to jerk off to pornography. But it got too predictable, so now I just jerk off to hockey fights. It's much better. They're very unpredictable.
He really had us right up to masturbating to hockey fights, and now it's back into the studio for Comedy Red Zone. I am Ron Bennington.
And I'm Gail Bennington.
We bring you the best of comedy around the country as it's happening with Comedy Red Zone. This way, you don't have to sit through full sets. We're just going to jump in and grab it as it's happening live.
We're also coming to you commercial-free, no breaks.
Commercial-free, no breaks, and jumping from comic to comic. The way that I believe that comedy was supposed to be done, with people just running in and just grabbing the parts that they want. Gail, this is one of your favorite comedians, and it's somebody that both men and women want to have sex with.
We're going to hear from Tammy Pescatelli at Crackers Comedy Club in Indianapolis.
I took a wrong turn. I saw a pimp on a bicycle. Puffy on a Huffy, right? Like, he didn't even have bling bling. He had ching ching, ching ching. Heard him go, get in the basket, ho. Come on. One in the basket, one on the nanner seat. Let's roll. To tell you about this woman, this prostitute. I was fascinated by her because she did not have any teeth. Yeah, but now I wasn't fascinated by her for any gross, disgusting reason like a lot of you men are fascinated by. I was fascinated by her because as a woman, if we're honest with ourselves, ladies, sometimes we have a tendency to feel insecure. Maybe you feel chubby. Maybe you feel like your hair doesn't look great. Your makeup doesn't look great. Your outfit didn't come out and you don't want to leave the house. Said, I wish I had the confidence of a no-tooth hooker. All right? Right? That is a confident broad right there. Anybody who could sell ass for a living with no chiclets, holy. She needs her own TV show. That's who. Not Rachel Ray teaching me how to cook in 30 minutes or less. That's why we got McDonald's. Just get the no-tooth hooker show.
The fabulous Tammy Pescatelli.
Tammy Pescatelli is a pro. You could say that the comedy game has changed, but Tammy has some real old school sensibilities.
Well, there's old school sensibilities, there's fresh material, and as I said, not all comedians are ugly. And we see that in Tammy. You know, we're ready to jump over and, as part of tonight's Comedy Red Zone, jump to the one and only Kathy Griffin. Kathy
hold on.
is just
we also
doing...
have Wyatt Cenac coming in as well.
Are you saying a double box? First time tonight.
That's right.
We're jumping into a double box. This is very exciting, folks. Doesn't normally happen, but you've got it today on Comedy Red Zone.
Hold on.
We're going to give you both Kathy Griffin and Wyatt Cenac at the same time.
Hold on, I'm also getting from my producer. We're going to be hearing from Mike Birbiglia.
A try-box. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a rare occasion when 3 different comedians are in the groove at the same time. Kathy Griffin, Wyatt Cenac, Mike Birbiglia, all going into doing monster bits. And
hold on one second. We also have Kurt Braunholer.
Are you telling me a quad box is going on right now? Kathy Griffin, Wyatt Cenac, Mike Birbiglia, and Kurt Braunholer. This is amazing. We've never had a quad box this early in the program before. It's Comedy Red Zone. 4 great comedians going at it at the same time. This should be spectacular.
And he says, hey, I overheard Beyonce saying she's afraid to talk to you. She's afraid you're going to make fun of her. So, and
my time to mess with you I remember like it was yesterday because I was shocked.
Okay, so then I was like, Beyonce's going to come talk to you.
This is making out with other people we know.
For a second. I want to tell you about that time I smoked Moroccan hash from Gil Scott Heron.
It's got to be like an alien ritual. These 2 aliens attached orifice on the face. I am not doing that. Collectively, I'll go my couch. Like, you do it home. You are not on the list. You're not exactly a first-round draft pick for our new activity. Seems so close to me, and it still does. Sometimes you use it homophobic situation. Guys are like, I don't like when I see 2 dudes making out in the street. I feel that way about it.
San Francisco.
Like making out, like this is not like watching a dog. You just get it. You cover the pillowcase.
They brought me a Ziploc freezer.
Into a room where somebody shit the bed, you can't even tell.
That's how I make out. Is that right? Does anybody know?
Overwhelming scent of sheets.
To place on a person who does not live in San Francisco.
Get back to me when you make burnt
because
match
I now have 3 days to move a shit ton of weed.
Because then I'll know we're playing a game I can get behind.
Wow, 4 comedians killing at the same time. It only happens on Comedy Red Zone.
What a thrill to have these best bit material all at once.
Phenomenal night. Total excitement right here on Comedy Red Zone. We've gotten a single box. We went to the double box, the tri box, and then finally the quad box. You're getting 4 times the comedy that any one listener could ever expect. It is Comedy Red Zone. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington. You know, Gail, you wonder who could follow a quad box like that.
I can't think of one.
I've got a name for you, and I believe that you're going to love this gentleman. He is at the Royal Theater in Boston right now, and our sources are telling us he's burning that shit house down. One of the funniest people working today, the one and only Rory Scovel.
You guys ever steal an old person? Oh, I guess everyone here has their grandparents. Some of us don't. We got to replace ours, okay? Here's a tip. Old people in wheelchairs rarely turn around to see who's pushing them. You're at the store, see a wheelchair. No one's stopping you. Hey, where you going with that old person? That's never been said. That's the first time that's been said. Hey, where you going with those old people? No one's asking that. No one cares. When old people are around, everybody's thought is, hey, get these old people out of here. Come on here. Okay, I'll help. Don't say anything. You get out to the parking lot. That's not our car. Get in! You're my grandmother now. Folks, find the positive. I have 7 grandmothers right now. How great that is. 7 grandmothers? I love the one grandmother. Her love is so strong. Try 7. I'm leaving in the morning. Make an announcement. Hey, I'll be home at 3. Everybody bakes cookies. Everybody. We'll see who did the best.
Welcome back to Comedy Red Zone, where we're only giving you the best sets of any comedians out there tonight. Rory Scovel answers the comedy question, can you do comedy in a hoodie?
The answer is yes. He got laughs, and that's the key statistic here. Rory gives 110%.
110%. So much comedy happening, and we're grabbing it as it's going down. This is Comedy Red Zone. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Great to be here.
Understanding right now, we're going to go back to Dan Soder. We've been waiting for him all night to see what he's got going on. I understand that he's brought a woman on stage and he's getting her to talk while he's putting his hands from behind his back and acting like they're one person. So that's more of a visual act. We're going to get back to him as he does something for the audio.
That's all right. We're going to move where the action is. Gary Goldman at the Wilbur Theater in Boston, Massachusetts.
I love Netflix. Oh. I love Netflix. Chief reason of all, they brought Blockbuster to its knees.
Rot in hell, Blockbuster. Rot in hell. Rot in hell, Blockbuster. With your outrageous late fees, your surly sales staff, and your criminally loose definition of new releases. Why is this a new release? Because it's in color? It's Braveheart, goddammit. I didn't even know Mel Gibson hated Jews when this movie came out.
Hate Blockbuster. Love to see a Blockbuster that went out of business. It warms my heart. I drive by. You can always tell which store used to be a Blockbuster because it's empty and they've taken the sign down, but it still spells out Blockbuster in filth. They didn't save enough money to power wash the grime that was behind the sign, so it still says, and it's so appropriate. Ugh, rotten hell. First of all, how did they go out of business with my $60,000 in late fees? Would you gamble it away? I hate them. I hate them. Oh, they were such hypocrites. They wouldn't rent you porn, but they would rape you with late fees. They had no problem sodomizing you with late fees. I can remember bringing in a movie and just being like so embarrassed, like it's been a while. What do I owe you? And the little jerk, he was like, oh no, that's all set. It's like, really? Yeah, keep it. Some sort of amnesty declared or something like that. You want me to keep this? Oh yeah, we already charged $88 to your Visa. You own New Jack City for the rest of your life. Yeah. A movie that you couldn't bring yourself to watch in 6 weeks. Every time you move, you're going to have to pack up, and that'll be a reminder as to what an irresponsible loser you are. Yeah. You own New Jack City on VHS for the rest of your life.
Gary Gulman at the Wilbur Theater in Boston, Massachusetts. Wow, this guy is unstoppable. You can really see him using his height to his advantage there.
6'6". Height plus comedy, that's star power. This is the Comedy Red Zone, bringing you the best of every comedian performing tonight. No crowd work, no mic checks, no middle acts, no openers, nothing but pure headlining comedy.
Just bringing you best bit material. I'm actually hearing right now, we've got Kathleen Madigan at the Royal Oak Music Theater in Detroit.
Went to Target with her. My mom was a nurse for 30 years. She's retired. I said, out of nowhere, while we're pushing a cart, "God, I have a splitting sinus headache." She goes, "Oh, here," and roots through her giant purse and goes, "Take this." And I took it. And about a second later, I hear, "Oh." I said, what was that all about? She goes, "You swallow that?" Yep. Sure did. Swallow it. What color was it? I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I didn't look at what color it was. Kathleen, why didn't you look at what color the pill was? What? Why? Why? Because you're not somebody I met at a party. You were my mom. You were a nurse for 30 years. I bought the whole story. I did. I trusted you. I ate it blind. I just ate it blind. I said, "Well, if you had to guess, what kind of pill do you think I ate?" She said, "Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It came out of the blue unmarked bottle that your father and I call the All-Stars. And it could be anything from pain medication to blood pressure pills, Kathleen." I said, "What if it's his blood pressure medication?" She said, "You're going to pass out. And that's why we should abandon our carts and leave this Target immediately. Because I can't drag you out of here with this bad knee. That knee replacement did not work. I don't care what he says. It didn't work. And you're not going to want me to drive home, Kathleen, because it takes forever because I don't make left turns anymore." Now I don't even care what kind of pill I ate. Now I just want to understand why she doesn't make left turns anymore. I saw it's not always lefts. It's anything into oncoming traffic where you have to cross lanes to get to your lanes. UPS doesn't allow their drivers to do it, and they save millions of dollars. Your father and I are retired. We have that kind of time. You drive to the next light, and you cautiously make a U-turn, Kathleen. That's what you do.
Kathleen Madigan, big laughs, big applause breaks, and that's all you're going to get here on Comedy Red Zone.
You can tell she came here to play.
She did come here to play because that is her job, to go on stage and do comedy. I don't think she was going to be serious at all tonight. That is Comedy Red Zone. The best of the best, doing the best. Hey, we're grabbing this straight off the Conan O'Brien feed. It's the one and only Mike Vecchione, the man that I believe is the next corner America is going to turn, and you're hearing him on the Comedy Red Zone.
I'm also a Catholic. I believe in the main things. One God. I believe you should respect your parents. I believe you should love your neighbor. The rest of it, I don't know, flip a coin. Should I not want to covet my neighbor's wife? Probably not. But maybe she shouldn't be walking around half naked with the drapes open. Because that's how sin happens. That's how it happens. It's like her carelessness plus my high-powered binoculars equals sin. Like I said, I live in New York. I have a rodent problem. But that's the beauty of living in New York. You live in an urban area, but you still have the problems of a farmer. I I don't tell my landlord I have rats. Why? Not a snitch. Snitches get stitches. I buy my own pesticides, and I blast the rats with, I go Tupac Resurrection. I blast the rats with my own pesticides. And I believe it was Kelly Clarkson who once said, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that is especially true when it comes to pesticides and rats. Because not only did these rats not die, they evolved into smarter, more vengeful rats. So I'm like, fine, I go old school. I set a trap, put cheese in the middle of it. 2 hours later, I check the trap. Trap's still set, cheese is gone, my car keys are in the middle of the trap. They figured it out. The rats figured it out. Now it's a chess match. And I'm losing because I'm sick from my own pesticides. I can no longer have children. I probably could have a kid, but he'd be like a Benjamin Buttons. Probably an elderly baby that ages in reverse. Work out. I go to the gym. Here's the thing about the gym. You can't do the same workout because your muscles are smart and they have memory. And they will memorize your workout, then you will not make any gains. So what you guys have to do is muscle confusion. You have to confuse your muscles. And that's what I do. I get dressed like I'm gonna work out. Right before I step on the treadmill, I smoke a cigarette. Muscle confusion. The muscles are like, I thought we were going to go for a run. I'm like, sorry, muscles, we're partying. Guy sees me smoking in the gym. He's like, you can't smoke here. It's a violation of the fire code. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? I'm a volunteer firefighter.
That was Mike Vecchione at the Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank for Conan O'Brien. You know, Ron, anytime you're in a late night situation, you're talking about a must-win set. The clock is ticking.
No kidding. And Mike Vecchione brought it tonight. He was like a really funny Marine. Most of the time you don't get to hear guys that look like that aren't driving a cop car. So to see him bring that set to Conan O'Brien, it was an amazing one. I am hearing perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and from what I understand, this is not Quad Box, but Big J Okerson, the elusive Bigfoot of Comedy Red Zone. Looks like he might be jumping out of crowd work for a couple moments and going into written material. I almost passed out, but I'm trying to stay up. This is Comedy Red Zone, and it looks like material from Big J Okerson.
I had an ex-girlfriend when I grew up in Philadelphia. She used to make me masturbation videos, which, you know, she wasn't good at it. Her camera broke one day. She made me an audio tape of herself masturbating. How weird is that? A fucking audio tape of her ugh. And it was like, she was from South Jersey, which is one of the worst fucking accents I've ever heard in my life on a girl. Terrible accent. Terrible. South Jersey girls and guys sound exactly alike. Like, if you picked up a phone during our conversations, you would have no idea who the fuck's talking to who. Like, what do you want to do later? I don't know, we'll do something. Well, you pick what you want to do then. Yeah. Click. She fucking, it's audio tape, dude. She just hands it to me, like, proud. Because they were like, check this out. And first of all, she taped over Journey's Greatest Hits. So already, like, really, lady? Yeah. Wheel in the Sky. Gone. So I put it in. It's like 22 minutes long. 21 minutes. It's just that voice on a fucking loop. Just going, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay, yeah, Jay. Sounded like an electric mixer. It's, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was still lumps. She was hot, man. I remember she had a fucked up mouth. Like, yeah, she had like an overbite and buck teeth and her fucking... She was hot, but yeah, her mouth was a fucking mess. Because of all that shit in her mouth, her lips used to bumble when she would talk. So she would accidentally put the letter B at the end of words that ended in M by accident, which is hilarious in context. Because like the last minute of this thing, she's like, yeah, Jay, yeah, oh my God, I'm gonna cumba. Like, that was a good orgasm. Then she just laughs and one explodes. That's how it ends. That's a good orgasm. And then fucking right into the third verse of Don't Stop Believing. Just a sweetie boy.
And that is a special treat. Big J. Okerson doing material. Ladies and gentlemen, that's like seeing Bigfoot on a unicycle eating a cheeseburger. Big J. Okerson live, burning it up and doing material.
When you talk about Big J. Okerson, you're talking about an unstoppable force. Big J, physicality at its peak.
Big J. Okerson right here on the Red Zone. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington. We stay with you live, commercial free, with the Comedy Red Zone, bringing you the best of comedy and nothing else but the best.
I'm getting word right now. The action is with Tig Notaro at the Wilbur Theater in Boston.
I'll tell you, I am afraid to fly, and I am. Sure, laugh all you want, but I'm very afraid to fly. And I went on a plane that seated maybe only 6 people, and it was so tiny that you could only kind of crouch to get through the plane. And oh my God, it was so small. And once we got to our cruising altitude, we're flying along, and the pilot, who's just sitting right there, it's just like, hey, how's it going? And you do your thing, I'll do mine. He gets out of his seat and just is like, let me show you where the emergency toilet is. And I said, I'll decide where the emergency toilet is. How about here? How about this is the emergency toilet? Or how about right here? This could be the emergency toilet. How about anywhere I decide is the emergency toilet? This entire flight feels like an emergency. Just one huge emergency toilet flying through the air. Now go sit back down, you joker. Don't you worry about the emergency toilet. I love on commercial flights when you're seated in the emergency exit row and the flight attendant's like, I was just wondering if in the event of an emergency, you'd be willing to help out. And I'm like, totally. If you need anything, you come grab me. But I was just wondering if maybe we could wait and see what kind of shape I'm in after the plane plummets 30,000 feet. So I don't even know if I'm going to be sitting here anymore. But absolutely, you come grab me if you need anything. Are they really going to hold me to that? Where is that woman from 12E? Where's that guy from 12E? No, he said he'd help us out. I'm just off in the distance, gathering my own body parts. Did somebody need something? I did give a verbal confirmation, so I'm carrying my own head in my hand. Yeah, just let me know what I can do for you. Oh, man. Flying, huh?
Tig Notaro bringing it once again. And Gail, you can count on Tig being there every single time we're doing Comedy Red Zone. She lives in the Red Zone.
She lives in the Red Zone. She's an unstoppable force, and she's a risk taker out there.
Do you feel like you have to be a risk taker to make it in this league today?
I think the game has changed. You know, I think you absolutely have to take risks out there. The other great thing about her, she paces herself. She takes her time. There's no rush with her.
Tig Notaro on the Comedy Red Zone. We're grabbing you, comedians, the second they begin to kill, and then pulling out the second they start to cool off a little bit. This person is no surprise to anyone. At the Comedy Cellar, it sounds like he's turning it on. This is Greer Barnes.
I kid the cops. I saw a group of cops on horses last night. Like 8 of them. Just walking towards a brother. My first thought was Django. I don't know why. I was expecting one of them to say something to me, like, "Where are you going, boy?" So I could just look at him. "Nowhere, sir." Mr. Lincoln says I was free. You know, some shit. "Where are your papers, boy?" Cop on a horse in New York City. How fucking ridiculous. You ever see him do anything? Can they do real cop shit? You ever see him do anything other than... Easy, easy. Like if I snatched your purse and ran, would they be like, "Yeah"? They ain't gonna catch me. "You're under arrest, buddy." Get on. You see a brother on the back of the horse. If you saw that, what would be your first thought? I'd be like, how did he get up there? Like, he probably would have been like, "I ain't never been on a horse before, man." Like, it's quite simple. Just put your hand here. All right, I'm good.
That's dangerous. He could fall off.
What a set from Greer Barnes at the Comedy Cellar in New York. Here's a guy, dictates the tempo, he sticks to the fundamentals.
Killing it once again, Greer Barnes. David Tell looks like he might be next. Is he ready to follow Greer Barnes?
Greer Barnes. Let me tell you something about Greer. I can't follow that dude. Good luck.
All right, looks like no. We will go back to a guy we've been waiting to hear from all night, Dan Soder. I'm being told that Dan is just leaning over a stool right now and lighting his farts. A funny bit, but not one that we can do here on the Comedy Zone.
Having a tough time of it, Soder, tonight.
Let's jump out to the Cherry Lane Theater in New York City. The one, the only, Colin Quinn.
But if you even mention ethnicity, people feel a little bit, your stomach feels tense. If you even mention someone's ethnicity, everyone's like, wow. If I told you a true story, this Mexican guy came up to me, whoa. Why does this guy have to be Mexican in your true story? I don't understand. You know, you have to speak in those idealized, pasteurized, homogenized, colorblind at all. You know, you feel, if you notice, you're like, this guy comes up to me, could have been Mexican, I don't know, I don't care. I shouldn't have been a Central American, Hispanic, Latino. It was a man, all right? Wait a minute. I was sexist. I don't know if it was a man. Could have been a woman, could have been LGBT, I don't know. I mean, it was a life form came up to me. You know what? Hold on. I'd like to start the story by apologizing for, obviously, I'm coming from a place of Western, entitled, unconscious, paternalistic fear of the other, and, you know, non-heteronormative, gender-specific. I'd like to start by saying that this apology has been a learning experience for me and a teachable moment, and I think I'm going to do some soul searching, and hopefully down the line I can start a non-profit for other people that are telling stories, you know. And sure, you applaud, but half the country, when you tell that apology, groveling, they're like, now you're starting to understand.
Colin Quinn just crushing, Gail.
The definition of a pro. I mean, debatably, the best in the comedy game today.
So many comedy at the top of their game tonight. What an exciting night. You know, every week we end this the same way with the punchline montage. I just want to check in before we get to that and see if we can possibly get Dan Soder on the show. We've been waiting for him all night long. It would be terrible if we didn't get to him. But from what I understand, he is groping and dry humping a waitress right now. Doing well in the room, but once again, way too visual for us. So, let's take it to punchline montage.
Like, let's say his dick was snow and it was so big it could close a school. Would that be...
It looked like the black smoke monster from Lost was just following her.
Part of me wanted to say, you can also gamble that shit.
Some people drink and unwind. I would unravel. There's a difference, you know?
Like, he was like, I take walks, for instance. I walk 70 miles a day or something. I would like...
Because he once was a great horse.
That's why we got McDonald's. Just get the No Tooth Hooker show.
You own New Jack City for the rest of your life.
Because you're not somebody I met at a party.
Old people in wheelchairs rarely turn around to see who's pushing them.
Right into the third verse of Don't Stop Believing.
Just a CD boy.
Flying, huh?
Like if I snatched your purse and ran, would they be like, yeah?
why does this guy have to be Mexican in your true story? I don't understand. You know.
Wow, that was the punchline montage, and what a night it was.
It's been nonstop, high octane here at Comedy Red Zone.
You know, so many great comedians, and I'm just getting word now on Dan Soder that he has walked off the stage out to the sidewalk and is throwing his shoes at passing cars. So we will not get Dan Soder tonight, but if you get the opportunity, Dan Soder and Big J. Okerson do the Bonfire Mondays and Wednesdays on Comedy Central Radio. That's 95 right here on Sirius XM. It's the funniest and hottest show in radio today.
It's a clash of titans, giants of comedy tonight.
You know, we will see you back here again next week. I'm Ron Bennington.
And I'm Gail Bennington.
And you just found yourself in the Comedy Red Zone.